Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the first ever episode of Tayyar, a very royal, bougie, posh D&D series, where normally in a Dungeon Dragon setting, the adventurers, the homies, would go into dungeons, slay dragons, and all that kind of stuff. But here they're going to be mostly sort of castle bound, dealing with politics and dealing with trying not to get assassinated and trying to do all that kind of stuff. So more on that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and honor these amazing, wonderful human beings that are going to be our cast tonight and the main characters for this entire season. And by the way, we are looking for guests. So if you would like to guest, feel free to go to the Discord and let us know because we'd love to have you as a guest and be bougie and posh as well and all that kind of stuff. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and have Andrew J. Landy, who's too buff for his shirt.
Damn it! I was hoping. I was like, dude, come on, don't let me go first. What's up, everybody? My name is Andrew J. Landy. Some of you may know me as Duralath on the interwebs. That is my alter ego persona slash gamer tag slash. Why did I choose this name? Doesn't matter. Tonight I am playing Jackson Arcega. His style is polearm fighter master. Ha 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 ha, D'Angelo. But we'll see what happens with all the intrigue and the espionage and whatnot that happens here tonight. So overall, just super happy to be here. I am Filipino descent, so I'm BIPOC, and above all, just happy to be here. So let's have some fun.
Yeah, and then going over all the way across the pond to Rising Valkyrie, who's an apex predator.
I am not. That is a lie. That is fake news. Completely wrong. No, I am Jess. You can find me at Rising Valkyrie on Instagram and at Rising Valkyrie J on Twitter, which I'm trying to use more, as my fellow friends here will tell you, hopefully. Yeah, just anything I'll be posting on there, any series I'm in, but I'm very excited to be playing Eclipse today. No last name needed. You don't need to know.
Okay, and then going over to one of the greatest Twitch streamers alive, Discount Bard.
Also lies and slander. Hi everyone, I'm Eddie, otherwise known as the Discount Bard. You can find me on all the various social medias at Discount Bard. And yes, I do stream here on Twitch, primarily Sea of Thieves, although these days it's been a lot more variety and working towards some spooky Halloween streams coming up in October. But I'm also a DTRPG player. You can find me over on DM Screening, where we do Ecriam Chronicles. I'm also there with Utahime, among some other amazing TTRPG players. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and then going over to one of the greatest cosplayers alive to date, Cosplay Senpai Utahime.
He's telling all the lies tonight. Hi guys, I'm Brianna, also known as Utahime. As he mentioned, I am a cosplayer, I'm a streamer, and I perform for different TTRPGs on different channels. So if you want to check out what I do on the socials of the medias, you can go to Utahime Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, here on Twitch, and Brianna DeCosta on Twitter. And I am bringing back one of my favorite gals, Dia Guha, who I originally played in A Song in the Heart on Gilding Light. I'm bringing her back, but now this is kind of her prologue, so to speak, before she ended up getting into that bardic college and learning how to dance. So she's going to be mainly the focus of her paladin Oath of Vengeance. That's going to be the focus for this campaign. But hopefully, I don't know, who knows? Maybe, with the leveling up, there might be some bardic inspiration somewhere down the line. But she was basically inspired because I do have a background in Indian classical dance. And modern Indian dance as well. And I just was loving the culture, and I felt like it would be really awesome to showcase it with a D&D character, because you don't see that often. So yeah, we're bringing some spice to the campaign for sure.
That's amazing. So my name is D'Angelo Murillo, and I'm a tabletop RPG performer. I try with all my heart and soul to organize events and projects and all these different things to help our community become more diverse. And this is one of the projects. TR is a royalty sort of Dungeons and Dragons series where it's focused more on politics. So there will be various nations that are going to be around, and they're influenced heavily by different cultures that are in our real world. So they're going to be a little bit foreign to what you guys kind of or to what the mainstream sort of D&D setting usually is. Want to give a huge shout out to Ronan Fox, our dear friend, because he is my co-writer on this series. because it's like political based. I was like, I'm gonna need like some help here, and he's like, I got you, dude. So he is gonna help out in writing, fleshing out all the nations and like NPCs and maybe crafting some storylines depending on what I'll need and everything like that. So that'd be really really cool. Also want to mention that we do have a giveaway tonight. It is for Umbral Oculus dice. So it is a D20. So if you would like to enter that giveaway, go ahead and put TR in chat, uppercase or lowercase, and that is TAYYAR. And then after we get back from the break later on tonight, then we will roll to see who wins and everything. So it should be pretty fun. And speaking of which, let me go ahead and add this super fast. That way we can honor Taryn. And let's see here. There we go. Perfect. And
All the love to Taryn.
yeah, she's amazing. I don't know if it'll show actually. I guess we'll do that later. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Oh,
Good job.
yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Looks good. Looks good.
Look at that.
Wow.
Should be a hand model. There you go.
Right? There you go. And let me make sure that people
How
are
did you
entered
know what I
into the giveaway.
secretly do for a living?
Yeah, right?
Only
Only hands.
Oh my gosh, only
Oh my god.
that could also go in a totally really wrong
Are we
direction. Just
not
saying.
using phrasing because oh my god.
Right? There you go. Perfect.
That was actually
So-
a really good archer right there.
Now Jackson, that's his voice.
Damn it.
It's just Archer. Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh god, Jackson is
Jackson's
gonna
voice
be
has got a
Archer.
crack.
That's amazing.
Just got a crack every so often.
Oh,
There you go.
God.
Perfect. So, yes, to give you some exposition on this series, TR was once the second greatest nation in the sort of known world. They were led by the queen, Laureate, I believe it was, as she was very bloodthirsty, warmonger, teamed up with another nation called Yorderic, and they together were able to conquer a majority of the land and make a lot of allies in the process. But there was a plague that mysteriously came and only affected TR, which a lot of people assume that it's witchcraft based, but there's no one can really identify what it is, where it came from, or anything like that. But what everyone knows the effects of it. So over the course of about 6 months or so, this plague ended up wiping out a lot of the livestock, a lot of the people, and so much more. It's about about 20% of the population essentially got like cold, and a lot of them were royalty, who were the actual queen of TR and her like next in line for the heirs, and a lot of the lords who have houses and small settlements that are around in the nation of TR also got cold. So the adventurers tonight come from these noble families, but they were never ever supposed to be like hold the house or the throne. They are now forced into the situation, as all of them have been summoned from whatever corner of the world they came from, or whatever they were doing, and are now in the castle of sort of TR, awaiting the actual coronation of the new king or queen. Because what we're going to do is we're going to actually roll to see who's going to be what's for the rest of this sort of series. It's going to be about like 8 to 15 episodes, depending on how long, everything takes and all that. So if you guys could, please go ahead and roll your D20s and then let me know what everyone gets. Did you get a natural 20?
No.
Okay. So let's go with Dia. What'd you get?
Ooh.
A 4.
4, okay. And then Rising Valkyrie?
I got it critical 20.
20. Yep, that's so.
I can
Good.
show you. I'm not even joking. I will
Oh my
post that in the
gosh.
chat. I'm not
That is
even
beautiful. That
That
is
is
beautiful.
see, this is it was meant to be. This is
Yep.
what I planned.
I'm actually gonna post it.
And
That
also
is
shout
so
out to
I
Dan for
rolled.
donating $50. Use it for whatever on the tip menu. Have an
Oh,
absolute
thank
blast. Perfect.
you.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you. Relvin might have
it's-
rolled a natural
it's-
22.
It's
That was
burritos, right?
amazing.
I'm down with burritos.
Yeah, burritos, right? Yeah, there you go.
Burritos.
There you go. And then Jackson,
Jackson got an 11.
11, and then Relvin,
Relvin got a 6.
6. Okay, perfect. So here's the deal. Just because you rolled what you rolled doesn't mean you have to go with that. So this is a negotiation phase. So right now, Rising Valkyrie has first dibs on whatever role she wants. you have the access to the queen if you'd like to. Now, the difference is between these, the general has control of the military. That means you have to make sure there's enough guards to patrol the roads, enough guards to take down monsters who encroach on the land, defend the castle, all that kind of stuff. Spy Master is all about information coming in, going out, preventing assassinations, all that kind of stuff. Coin Master is making sure there's enough finances and money flowing to be able to finance everything. And then the king or queen determine has the final say on everything, can veto anything, but has to also attend masquerades or balls, has to attend to lords, and has to also I think Eclipse would look great in a really like gown, or giant like
That'd be awesome in this role.
I'm gonna have to actually
Giant
invest in a
hoodie.
cosplay.
A giant
Right?
hoodie.
exactly.
Hoodie dress. That exists, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to get myself a crown.
And you
Just
have
make sure
to-
that the hood is large enough to fit over the crown. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
And you're-
it has to be over the crown.
Exactly. And you're essentially the figurehead for TR. So if anyone's planning assassinations, they're gonna come for you specifically. So in this game, and not only that, but you're also held to a situation where you need an heir. So like political marriage may be something that you have to like go through and all that kind of stuff. That goes for everyone, but especially the king or queen. So what would you like to do?
I feel like you're trying to deter me from this role.
Yeah, that's what I was
It's up to you.
too.
It's
Give it
up to you.
pride for
You
it.
can you can still have. I just want to let everyone know that way you're not like I didn't know it was gonna be this when. You get it. It's up to
See,
you.
in Evermore, I already play a queen.
Now, in this world, is it the type of world where you can have 2 males or 2 females who have a baby?
Absolutely. So you can have same-sex relations and you can adopt or whatever, and whatever you feel is most appropriate, or just have
Can you
a surrogate
have magical
sort of thing.
babies?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Magical babies.
Magical baby. Oh, magical babies.
Like, I'm
Sure.
trying
It's
so
fantasy.
hard to
May
make
as well.
her a
Yeah. I know, right?
I see my
Saying,
supporter over there.
Magical immaculate conception.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me
Is
try
that
to
a
find
thing?
this TR tip menu really quick. That way I can see what you guys get. And then in the meantime, let me know what you want to decide.
Okay.
Because that
How
way
about
everyone...
if they donate like 100 or like 150 or whatever, right? And I'll have a magical baby every time.
Just popping them out like pens.
Every
Yeah,
episode
yeah.
you have a magical
Like-
baby.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys get to decide
Oh
how
my
many kids I
God.
have.
Oh, and the name. They get
Yeah,
to
and the
vote
name.
for the name.
And the name.
Wow.
Heir two.
All right.
Nothing inappropriate, but you can name my children.
Wow.
Perfect. Okay, good. All right, so let's see here.
That escalated
Um,
quickly.
Okay, how do you guys feel about it?
So I'm gonna give you guys. There's only one of them, so it's so one of you can use it during the session. It's called Let It Happen. Thanks to Dan. So that means whatever you want to do for that one action, it automatically gets approved. I cannot deny it. Sort of
Okay.
thing. So you have that,
Cool.
success in your pocket.
Nice.
So that'll be the thing. Thank you, Dan.
Thank
Thank
By
you,
the way,
Dan.
Thank
we do
you.
have that tip menu. Let me see here, and the money goes straight to being split like evenly between us and everything like that. So feel free to go and tip if you'd like to. The donation menu or the tip menu should be below if you're on desktop and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, thank you again.
Okay, I want discussions with the team, please.
Oh.
How
Yeah,
you all
let's-
feeling?
Let's do that. So does anyone want the throne? Like. No one wants the throne.
I
All
don't
right.
mind.
He
I
weighs
don't
the crown.
mind.
Have
I
you not
don't-
heard that
these-
phrase?
The
I don't
yeah, the
mind.
crown
weighs
is
the
a
crown.
heavy exactly.
Heavy weighs the crown.
See, I already play royalty in Evermore, so I'm not a stranger to difficult situations.
See, so
But-
that's why I think that the person who has the most experience with ruling a nation
Yeah, there you go.
might
you know?
just be
Yep.
Clearly
the
most
assassin
qualified for the job.
as well.
Also, my Chinese name is Princess of the Land, so no.
There you go.
Wow.
Perfect.
No. Yeah, fuck
All
it.
right.
I'll take the crown. I'll take the crown.
All right. So
Yeah.
we have
Let's go.
Queen Eclipse. There you go. Perfect. All right.
Yes.
So second one was Jackson. There is the
Yes.
general, the coin master, or the spy master.
Okay. See, my initial thought was to take the general,
that
but
makes
almost
sense.
that makes sense. But it's almost like that's almost too fitting. I kind of want to
Up
shake
to
it up.
you. So like
Or
other
you could
than
be like a mobster and like wear like for the coins.
I was
For the
gonna
coin, there you
say
go.
I feel like I want to be the coin master now, given the background I
Really?
gave myself. Because like if I play general, that's like too standard. Let's have some
Oh.
fun. I'm gonna be the coin master.
Okay.
Oh,
So you're gonna lock in
wow.
Coin Master.
Yes.
It depends. If anyone else wants the Coin Master, you can negotiate with him.
This is great. I'm loving how
Okay,
this is
perfect.
going. It's not what I expected. It's great.
Exactly.
Except for Eclipse being
Yeah.
queen. That was
Yeah, we all knew that going into the call. That okay. Let's see.
You jinxed it.
I did.
And then next one is Relvin. Now there is a Spy Master, and then there is the General.
Well, it seems like I'm going to just have to walk right into the role I wanted in the first place, and I'm going to have to be the Spy Master.
Yay!
Okay,
I
perfect.
like the general. So I'm so happy.
I dig it.
So it all worked out,
Yay.
right?
It worked
General
out.
Dia, I love it.
I didn't think that I would get to be the general, so I was going to be okay with making whatever else work and make it a funny thing. But now I'm like, this is actually
Okay,
Perfect.
love us a female general.
yes.
I'll
We-
say.
Yep. We
And
need
it's
a-
very fitting for Dia's background if anyone saw A Song in the Heart. So it works.
Mm.
Yep,
Also
to be
for our
super
dynamic,
militant.
just saying.
Right? Right?
So good. So, yes, as I had mentioned, you guys will have a chance to introduce your sort of character and their physical description, as well as what kind of life they were living before this happened. Because like 8 months ago, essentially, where were you guys before the plague hit? Before you received the scroll, the summons, that you need to come back to Tayyar, because you are obligated to inherit the throne or the house, your house of nobility. That way you can serve as the queen's advisor, Queen Eclipse's advisor, and everything. So, yes. So we're gonna go in opposite order. So, Dia, could you tell us about what she was doing like 8 months ago before the plague and all that kind of stuff? What kind of life she was living, whether she was trying to get to the head of the house or if she was just doing her own thing.
Dia comes from a noble family, and her father Avi, and her mother, it's named Ria. Avi was a very high-ranking military official for Tayyar, it was only natural that even though at least in this world, women are considered very strong and powerful, and the same stereotypes that might be valid in another world as far as the ladies being weak. It's totally not the case in this world, which I love. So he was really excited when Dia was born, because then he could train her from an early age to basically be the next in line to live up to the prestige of the house, as far as becoming a as high ranking official as he is. So it was only natural for her to at an early age to end up being promoted as general, because of the fact that she was the most qualified. Her family in general serves a certain very specific deity, the goddess Kali, and Kali definitely represents protection and light, and definitely no mercy when it comes to said enemies. So it was only appropriate for her to also to take that role, because when things need to get done, Dia gets it done, and anyone standing in her path better watch out. So
Perfect. And then going over to Relvin.
Oh, did I need to do a description as well, or
You know what? Yeah, we'll go and do a
just
physical
in
description.
that way? Okay, all right. So with Dia, she stands 5'9". She has long, flowing, raven-colored hair. She has green eyes and tan skin. She's muscular in build because of her training at a really young age with her father. Her ears are not as long as most high elves, because she is half human, so half high elf. She usually is seen in her, if she's wearing regular attire, it's usually a golden blouse with a really beautiful embroidered red part of her sari that goes across her body, and beautiful embroidered red and gold embroidered skirt. But when she is ready for battle or going out into the field, she does have a golden breastplate with a symbol of the goddess Kali, holding a trident and having a tiger at her side, which is funny because Dia, of course, in order to honor Kali, one of her main weapons is a trident, and she does have a long sword that she usually has at her hip, but she's more than likely going to use her trident more than anything. She has gold bangles that are encrusted with rubies that match her earrings, and gungaroos tied to each of her ankles. And yeah, that is a description of what Dia looks like if you see her.
Perfect. And then going over to our spy master, Relvin, who's like kind of getting the lay of land of his own like little office and all the trinkets and baubles that the last spy master had, who met an unfortunate end. What do you look like, and where were you doing like 8 months ago?
So, as the self appointed spy master, I know the value of information, and as such, how much should I reveal of my origin to those, or should I just allow things to become revealed as they are to be?
Yeah.
Reveal.
I love it.
But
Scandalo.
For all intents and purposes, not much is known of the origin of Relevin. Seems to have actually arisen out of nowhere, but is a very prominent individual who is very well spoken, very soft, delicate features on his skin and face and hands. Does not look like he is one who has spent a lot of time in the field. Seems to be quite comfortable in a position of royalty and of power. Very careful in his choice of words, very cautious to avoid giving away too much at any given moment because, as mentioned prior, information is valuable. So we are very choosy in what we allow to reveal at any given point in time.
Perfect. And then going over to our queen, Eclipse. What do you, as you're looking at the throne and looking at the crown and all getting ready for coronation day and all that kind of stuff? What do you look like? And then what were you doing like 8 months ago, essentially?
So 8 months ago, I probably was bounty hunting, kicking ass, not giving a fuck, just chilling. Basically, almost disowned from my royal family. So I effed off and did my own thing, made my own coin, made my way on that grind, and it was a good living. It was a good living, but surprised to see this invitation for the throne. Something must have happened, something dodgy, but we'll see. And what she looks like. See, now I'm upset because Bree is really taking my breath away with her description. Right?
She does that.
Yeah. Fuck. Right? She's probably dressed in all leather, all black leather. So she's got her leather trousers, her beat up combat boots, like almost docks, right? Like almost like an emo teenager, but actually probably looking about late 20s, in elf years. And leather jacket on. She always has her hood up. And her statement piece of a fringe that is not really a fringe, it's just half her face. And she's just staring at it, going, just kind of, we'll see how this goes. This will be fun.
Perfect. And then going over to Jackson. So what is your physical description, and what was Jackson doing 8 months ago?
So Jackson is a 6'2", 195-pound. He's of athletic build. He's been trained in fighting, but also trained in the art of business. Shaved head. When he's not wearing his, noble light shirt, kind of like the one I'm wearing right now. This is a Barong Tagalog, by the way, for anybody who is curious. When he's not wearing that, usually he's wearing that outside of any sort of fight, but if it does come to battle, he usually dons some sort of mithril armor. It's usually adorned in red and black. 8 months ago, he was with his family, and his family stands in stark protest to the crowning of the new queen, and as a result, they've shuttered away from the rest of the world, saying, "Oh, this plague is nothing. We will survive, for we are blessed. Everyone else is cursed." And Jackson is having none of that, so he has basically self-exiled himself from the family, taken the family's special armor, the mithril armor, and the family's glaive, and rode out in support of the new queen because he realizes
you got the vaccine.
Yeah, I did exactly. Because he realizes if we don't support the new power that be, we're never going to get through this. So Jackson must support, even though his family protests what he's doing, and because of this, within his family, he's sometimes referred to as the exile. So
And for a lot of you, it's either that there was a house like ahead of you that got wiped out and had no heirs or anything like that, and then your house came into power, or it's that you had various siblings who were older than you, more competent, and all that kind of stuff, or just born female and everything like that, and they got wiped out, and now it's up to you, and you're either willing to take this or you're forced to take this. But what's happening now is you guys are all escorted sort of into a room, essentially like the throne room, as all of you are kind of gathered here, and there is a like advisor essentially that you guys kind of had seen before with the queen. He's a very like older sort of orc ish fellow who I never gave a name, so let me go ahead and do that super fast as
Bruce.
Bruce. There you go. Perfect.
his name is
It's
Bruce.
That works. So
Spruce and Brucey.
Even if
Yeah.
it wasn't, the queen said it is, so it is.
exactly, yeah.
Right.
My name
His
is
name's
Steven.
actually something else.
Yeah. So,
Nope.
so
It's Bob.
your advisor Bruce, like will come over. He's very very old. He's lived a long life. He has all gray hairs, a lot of wrinkles, bags under his eyes from stress and everything. And he kind of looks to you guys and kind of wrings his hands and just goes like, I'm sorry to take you from what you were doing like so long ago, and I know that some of you, your journeys have been hard and long, but I appreciate that you've shown up when your nation needs you most. As he goes, please come with me. As you look around and you can see all these sort of servants running around trying to get everything decorated for Coronation Day, but because of the plague and the brewing civil war that's coming up and everything like that, servants in the castle are very very thin. It's very very light, and they're working double time to try to get everything taken care of. And the guards are also very light as well, as there's two of them that escort you guys, just to make sure that they are like you guys are taken care of. One is very really old and kind of like hefty in weight, and then the other one is very young, fresh faced, probably looks like 14 years old, and is like a half orc and everything. So Bruce guides you guys to a sort of side room where there was a very long, table, mahogany, and like various books inside of it and everything like that. And he goes, please, take a seat here. We have a lot to discuss. As before you are various like scrolls on the table, along with your nameplate as well. And he goes, I've gathered various documents for your new roles. Now, your houses have served with pride the crown for so many years, and it falls to you to take up this mantle of this new position. For Rovan, his we're gonna say, forefather was our spy master for so long, and he served in a great deal. Now, Rovan is now there, and I'm sure I don't know much about you, but I'm sure you'll do the crown, a great deed by with your guile and cunning and everything like that. And do
It
you
is
want
an
to
honor
respond?
to serve.
And then he goes, perfect. As he looks over to Jackson and goes, and Jackson, your aunt was an incredible coin master for us for so long, and served our house greatly. She got us through a lot of economic situations that were very very dire when we were in the war with so many nations, and hopefully we can count on your like intellect and wit to be able to do the same.
I must apologize that no other member of my family could be here, but the call had to be answered. So whatever you ask of me, I will do my best to serve.
And he goes, that's all we can ask for you. We'll have our greatest like accountants and everyone to assist you in this endeavor until you feel like you can take a hold of it by yourself and everything. As he like looks over to Dia and goes, our military was once one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest nation military in all the nations. Now we are a shade of our former power, but I've heard great things about you and your family. And if you're anything like your sisters and your cousins and your parents and everything, I'm sure you will serve as a great general.
It will be my honor to serve the queen and to show that House Guha is not to be reckoned with. We will restore it to its former glory. Don't worry.
And perfect. And sorry, as you can clearly see, there's one last like scroll and everything and chair that is unoccupied, and that is the one of the queen. As Eclipse, would you like to make your entrance, or would you like to?
Yes, I want to make my entrance. So, Eclipse, you'll probably hear these heavy footsteps kind of outside of the door. And as it grows louder and come closer, you'll hear a swift kick the door open.
Athletic check.
I've let, oh god.
Make it happen.
Oh no, that's my weakest skill.
Now, question, are we familiar with this? Because if that's the case, Dia, because of the fact that her family has served for so long, she will definitely just hearing that she will basically take her trident, tap 3 times, and then do a very deep bow with the trident at her side.
Okay, I rolled an 18, but I got -1, so that's a 17.
-1. Okay. Hey,
All right.
you do it. You know, you
Got it.
you have your door kicking boots on, and it flings open as like one of the guards was like, "Oh, I'll get it for you, miss." As he like tries to get it for you, but you kick the door open anyways, and it slams open as cool as you want it to be. As Dia gets up with her trident ready and everything, and you
And then literally like just like where it's like a deep bow out of respect in her direction.
And she'll probably just go like this. What's up, motherfuckers? I'm here.
Upon hearing that, she spins her trident, taps it down, and goes to take a seat.
So Bruce looks like red in the face, and he's like, "Well, you can't talk like that. You're the queen now."
And then Dia gets up at that and slams the table. How dare you? She is the queen. She shall say whatever she likes. And then she's basically then like looking like her hand is shaking on the trident, like she's like, "Don't try me."
And
I look at Bruce and then I point at Dia and I say, "I like this one. Can I keep her?"
so Bruce will be flabbergasted at this moment as he will take out a handkerchief. He's like, "You guys are gonna be the death of me." As he like wipes his sweat away. He's like, "Just take your seat, please."
And then Dia's like talking to herself. She's like, "Okay, remember the anger management classes that mother taught me." Okay, and then she takes a seat.
Yep, Daniel Tiger, count to 4, and then your anger will be no more. And so for Bruce, he like helps you. He pulls out your chair essentially, and goes, "Now, Lady Eclipse, Queen Eclipse, I know that you didn't want anything to do with your family. We've tried for many years to get you involved in everything, to take care of you, give you education, give you training, and all that kind of stuff. And you've always like done your own thing, which I've always admired and respected. But unfortunately, now it's your coronation day, and you've got to inherit this crown, and the burden is quite heavy, and I need to." I cannot emphasize that enough, that even though you all have positions of power, you hold the fate of Tayyar in your hands. And I will do my very best to advise you guys, because I've seen this nation, rise up from the very like brinks of destruction and poverty to our golden era and through war and all that. So I hope that my advice will be good enough to aid you, but this ultimately will fall upon you, because I can only give you advice, but you're the ones that are going to be making the decisions around here. And
what happened to my sister?
And he kind of looks and he goes, "Well, your mother, your sister, and your other sort of siblings and everyone unfortunately got the plague, and they tried. We brought our best healers, we brought witches, we consulted with the gods and everything, but nothing was able to stop this plague. And once you got it, you essentially died within a few weeks of exhaustion." And
no one thought to tell me this before I got here?
we sent scrolls and letters and messenger corgis, but you never responded. And he goes, we tried our best, but we were grateful that you guys were away, because you did not contract this horrible plague. And
Dia, incompetence. And then she takes a swig of whatever drink is in front of her.
There you go, perfect, sparkling water. So he will then go there. There's a few things that I need to inform you of. Now, at this coronation, there will be guests that will be coming from various other sort of nations that are our allies, and maybe some neutral nations. You must treat them with as much kindness and respect that you can afford, because we are in a very vulnerable state. Coinmaster, as you can read through your sort of documents and everything, we only have 5,000 gold in our coffers. In order to run this sort of nation, it costs about 2,000 a month and everything, and we only bring in 1,000 right now because our livestock and our production is completely devastated and down. And Diaz, you can see in your documents, we only have 100 standing men for our actual army. We're trying our best to make it appear that we have a lot of units, but we really only have a very thin amount. If someone were to attack us in the state, I'm afraid that like even relying on our people to call to arms, we
I
more
will
than
stop you there. It is not about numbers. My father has always taught me it is about strength, about determination. So I don't want to hear that. We have very capable soldiers, and we shall prove it. So don't worry and carry on.
he goes, Yes, General," as he looks to Relvin and goes, because
And
of
even more so, even more powerful than the forces we have in our arms is the information that we possess. So long as they are not aware of the fact that they may potentially outnumber us, we hold the advantage.
and he
I
goes,
like the way you think.
"That
We
is
shall get
true."
along.
In your documents, you will find letters from the former spy master who had there were concerning documents saying that there were various nations who the former queen Laureate had made various strained relationships with. As she was very bloodthirsty, she went to war, she did a lot of conquering, and there were a lot of people who would love to see our nation fall. And there seems to have been plots to do so, but before he could get any further, find out what was going on, or get any more information, the former spy master had passed away. So the trail is kind of cold, and we're going to need you to do some digging and research to figure out if everything's okay or if there's any sort of threat or issue. And he then finally looks to the queen. I imagine you're like, did you ever watch Star Trek? No? Okay, right. I was going to make a Star Trek reference. Then you do a super cool, like, lean on your chair, put your feet on the table and all that kind of stuff. I assume you can choose to be however you want to. But he goes, and my queen, you have the most difficult job of all. You have to guide this nation into whichever direction you feel is most appropriate. Now, we have a very strong ally, which are the Yordriks. Lady Tasia was a great friend of your mother, and her and Queen Laureate had gone conquering for various nations, and they were allies for through all this. She's sending us resources, she's sending us supplies the entire time and everything. So she's our greatest ally, and the only reason that we're standing still today is essentially because of her grace and everything. So you essentially don't want to mess up that relationship. Now, I've been informed that they're not going to send the actual heads of these nations out to here for your coronation day, but they are going to send representatives just because of the threat of the plague. And even though the plague seems to be decimating and seems to be like dissipating rather, there's still a lingering threat and a fear just from all nations they don't want this plague in their land. So there will be some representatives, but it's not going to be the higher ups for this. And just treat everyone with kindness and sort of respect. And he looks around the room and goes, "Does anyone have any questions?" As he takes off his glasses and like wipes them and sort of puts them back on.
Did you get my letter about my specifications for the crown?
And he goes, let me check. You want it all black, obsidian, and you want razor blades on it." And he goes, this is a danger to you. You'll probably kill yourself if you wear this. And he's like, we have your queen's the former queen's crown, but if you would like to fashion your own, you can do that. But it may cost some coin. As he like looks over to the coin master and all that kind of stuff. But you are the queen, so if you want it, you can choose to do so.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, perfect.
Possibly.
And he looks at everyone else. Does anyone ever have questions about your position? Any other information that you would like to receive about anything? Perfect. So he goes, all right, well, now we're going to get ready for the actual, there is an annual, or not annual, but for every coordination, there's a parade to showcase the leaders of our nations for all of our people to see as we march through the streets with pride and rejoice in this glorious sort of day. So you will all have to get into your ceremonial armor. You can get into your regular armor if you'd like to. That's fine, but we need to present ourselves as strength, and we need to present ourselves as the in all of our glory, essentially.
Finally,
And
something you say out of your mouth that makes a lot of sense.
and Bruce simply just goes like, getting too old for this job, as he like takes his cane and goes like, the guards will escort you to your new chambers within the castle. Whenever you'd like to, you can go back to your homeland and be able to stay there, but there is a room for you here on the property for you to do with what you wish. And
That's excellent. I don't intend on going back to my homeland anytime soon, so that room will be quite. Thank you.
No sense in looking to the past. Very wise. I have a feeling you and I are going to get along quite well.
We'll be in touch. Yes.
Aren't we just a band of misfits?
he goes, that word. And then he like takes his way out as he hobbles out, and he goes, I have other things to attend to. If you need me, I will be available. But for now, the guards will take you to your quarters. As sure enough, you guys all walk sort of as a group down the long hallways of the castle of Tayyar. As you can see, various portraits of the queen and the various sort of like victories that she's had, where she's like taken down various other nations. And there's a lot of these halls definitely seem very lonely and very thin and very sparse, as there's only so many servants that are scattered sort of around. Now, in this long hallway, would you guys like to say anything to one another? You don't have to if you don't want to, but this is your RP opportunity if you'd like.
So, have we any of us met each other before?
It's up to you. You can decide if you'd like to do so. We'll do this. All right, we'll do a kids on bike thing. So all of you are gonna pick 2 people that you are homies with and 1 person you don't really like. So we're gonna start off with Dia. So who are the 2 people?
I've heard of Relvin because of the close association with the spy master and the generals of old. So basically, like his family's name, I may not know a lot about him, but basically, at least from what I've seen of him, I'm more inclined to be like, oh, he has spunk. I like this one. And with Eclipse, I'm sure that you would have seen Dia's family often, because obviously they were higher ranking in the military and serving the royal family for a while, so you may have seen Dia at these different events, kind of like trailing after my father. But basically Dia is very much like, my job is like, I'm supposed to bring honor to the family name, so she's very much like excited, super excited, but she's she's probably next to Eclipse holding her trident and like kind of like a kid, but she's trying to hide it. Whenever Eclipse sees her, then she's like straight faced and looking brave, but then otherwise she's looking like a kid at a candy store. Jackson, she has certain thoughts on his family because she feels like his family is not loyal to the royal crown, and it doesn't matter who takes the throne, you always serve whoever, like, because of the fact that it's the royal family, you always serve no matter who it is. So she has a certain thought, but she's like waiting, but she's like, nah, I'm not sure if I like him if he's anything like his family. So she doesn't know anything about him besides the family that she does not like. So that's it.
Perfect. And to make it easier, we'll do 1 like, 1 neutral, and one dislike sort of thing. So from here on out, you guys can't choose Jackson again as someone you dislike. That way it can't be like, we all hate Jackson. It's like,
it's not so much hate. It's more like, I keep my eye on you because
dubious.
I don't trust
Exactly.
your family.
Okay, perfect. So Relvin, who is the person that you like, and we can say that you guys have grown up around each other because you're all in the sort of the same circles when you were younger, and as you grew, you kind of separated and all that kind of stuff. So when you like, neutral, dislike, or not fond of.
That is a really tough call, actually. But I'm going to go ahead and say that we're probably fairly neutral about Jackson. They're definitely useful to us, so we want to make sure that we keep a very good relationship with them. But we're not entirely sure what, and we do share a lot in common, although we would never say so out loud. So there's a sense of kinship there, but not necessarily a sense of trust. Likely, we very much like our queen because they have a certain je ne sais quoi about them that is very easy to aspire to and very much easy to appreciate. They're Dia. Dia has a lot of very good intentions, but we're not entirely sure how we feel about how optimistic they are about everything. So there's a sense of optimism that we're not so sure that we entirely trust in the long run.
Perfect. And then going over to the queen, who is one person so you can't choose Dia and you can't choose Jackson. So you're gonna have to choose well, it's up to you. It's up to you.
I was gonna choose Robin anyway, just because frenemy, right? Right. We have like both royal blood competing, trying to outdo each other, I think, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a friendly rivalry, kinda, you know? I think I'm neutral about Jackson just because not really sure, don't know, we'll see how it goes. Respect him for, walking away from his family, because I get that. Respect it. But I think I've already expressed my likeness of Dia.
Yeah,
from my attitude. I just love it.
And we can say that you guys knew each other from childhood,
Yeah.
and you could kind of like remember her, and she was always down to clown and all that. So Jackson, who do you like? Who are you neutral about, and who do you are unfond of?
Let's see here. Since I know I'm going to support the crown, I am fond of the new queen because it's about support. Relvin I would be neutral with because while the spy master did say some very kind words earlier, still don't know, and I don't exactly trust the spy master, but I do because you're gonna need to negotiate that business, as they say. Dia would remind Jackson of the sort of oppressiveness, the almost too formal, too strictness of his family. So as a result, there's a little bit of tension there because it's a little too familiar to him.
That's so good. Perfect. All right. So to recap, Dia appreciates Relvin and Eclipse, and has a dislike or unfondness for Jackson.
Yeah, like Relvin is probably like, if we're going neutral, Relvin would be the neutral, but like she sees his use because of the fact that the generals and spy masters usually have to work hand in hand in order to basically get the information that's needed to get the job done. But Eclipse, yeah, she definitely is like, that's like someone that she admires, and also too, like, obviously serves. And then Jackson is like, she, again, the distrust of his no respect for his family, their behavior recently. Yeah.
All right, so I'm definitely gonna spin some romance stories to make enemies lovers. All right, so
about that.
No, okay, let me stop.
Relvin, you appreciate the queen. You are neutral about Jackson, and then you have an unfondness for Dia. Eclipse, you enjoy Dia. You are neutral about Jackson, and you have an unfondness for Relvin. And then Jackson, you enjoy the queen. You are neutral about Relvin, and you have an unfondness for Dia. It could also be that that she doesn't like you, so you don't like her back. Whichever you feel is more appropriate and all that kind of stuff. Perfect. So that's good. So now with that, that's like
romance produced.
Exactly. And then Jackson and Relvin fall in love.
Let the shipping begin.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
So all right. now with that information, that is RP information for you guys. I'll make sure to type it in Discord chat and everything and get you guys that. But you have more sort of information to play with. So you're still walking down this long hallway in your gear from another life that you're going to abandon for this new role position. Would you guys like to say or do anything while you're in each other's presence?
I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna turn around, briefly look at Dia, and I say, I kind of like nudge her on the arm, but I say, you need to chill out, dude. It's okay. Honestly, don't worry about it. No stress. It's all good.
Now that I've taken this position, I can't chill out, as you say. It's a heavy responsibility. I have to make sure that your safety and the safety of the kingdom are put before all.
I feel like the head is the heavy, what that wears the crown. No,
Well,
the shoulders.
It's also too the general who it's meant to also to protect the crown, so the crown stays on your head and not detached from your body. That's
Yeah, I
important.
guess I can handle myself. Take some weight off yourself. Hey, and I turn around to everyone. I say, "Are we going for celebratory drinks, please?"
That brings me to another good point. Thank you so much for doing that. So there's one last aspect about your characters. Now, if you already have a vice, then feel free to like fill that in there or whatever. So I can feel like Dia's gonna be wrath, but like of the
Definitely anger. Definitely, it's
So,
always anger.
it's gonna be the iconic sort of sins or whatever or vices. So as a recap,
Wrath.
there's wrath, there's envy,
Wrath.
there's gluttony, there's lust, there's and sloth. So whichever or greed as well.
Hmm.
So whichever you guys want. So wrath for Dia. That we have role play sort of North Stars. That way, if you need anything for your like, ooh, what would I lean more towards? So, and if you can't decide, I can always roll for you to make it randomized.
Roll.
You wanted to roll? All right. So
I trust the
Ooh.
dice. This is a bad idea, but I do it.
okay.
If it's lust, I'm gonna die.
Of course.
All right, perfect. So let me set this up. So well, wrath is already taken, so I'm not gonna do that. Sloth and
I'm pretty
And
sure I
the-
know which one I want, but I'm also open to rolling for it if that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
Yeah, I'm kind of sure I kind of want, but it's okay. I don't want.
and then no, greed and envy are the same thing. What are we doing?
Oh, wait, no, greed and envy are
No, different things.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think okay.
envy, sloth, gluttony, pride.
Pride. That's what it was. Thank you, pride.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, here we go. So we're gonna go. Jackson is lust. Number one.
Good God. That is not true. Oh my
Yep,
God.
it's true. It's true.
I love it.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
all right,
that's
all
it.
right, all right. It's it.
Oh my
What are you
god, I'm
kidding?
dead.
I love it.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
If
Utsahime
you
is
want-
2 for 2 on the calls.
Redeem it. I swear to God, you're psychic.
I know,
I am.
right?
Go buy a lotto ticket, please.
All
Oh
right,
yeah,
so,
I need to now.
So for Eclipse, it is greed. Now, if you want to negotiate and swap things around, you can absolutely do so.
What did you want? Sorry, names. Fuck. Hold on. Give me a second.
Jackson or yeah.
Robin, what did you
Robin.
have in mind?
So it was kind of a coin toss between pride and envy, but leaning towards envy.
Take it, because I'm gonna go for gluttony.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Yep. 3 is gluttony. So Relvin has gluttony currently. So do you guys want to swap to? So you have greed, Relvin, and then Eclipse has
Ooh.
gluttony.
Oh.
Which one are you wanting more?
So what? Okay, so define gluttony again for me, just in case, because I need
Gluttony
to.
is that you just love abundance of everything. You like it's not just food. It's like resources, whatever. You can't go humble or small. You have to be extra and all that.
Think of it as excessive acquisition.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I feel like.
Uncontrolled hedonism.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Oh.
It's actually that's very spot on.
Would you mind if I took gluttony?
I'm more than happy to go for greed.
Yeah.
Perfect. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lust is
Yeah.
Jackson.
All right, I gotta stick with it.
So
I gotta stick with
funny.
this.
Oh my god.
Eclipse and Greed is Relvin, and then Wrath is Dia. Perfect. There we go. All right, cool. So I'll make sure to type that up as well to get you guys that. That way, it's just your North Star, you know. And obviously, if there are certain situations where this stuff comes into play, you'll more than likely get a disadvantage to those situations, that because it's like your vice, the thing that your heart like leans towards or whatever. So avoid brothels, Jackson. Or like
That's what I was like thinking. I'm like, oh, this is.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh no!
Is that why we were down 1,000 goals?
right? You know,
Yeah.
the coin master, right?
Use your title.
Yeah, I was just looking for the money shot. It's okay.
Oh,
Oh,
oh
God.
my gosh.
It's starting. It's starting.
You're like, good news,
I-
everyone. We have tons of money in the coffers, and it's all thanks to what I call porn. I've invented it. It's like,
Wow.
all right.
I wasn't quite
So-
ready for that climax.
Only
Yeah, right?
coin.
Yes!
Only coin.
Oh my god.
Only
Nice.
coin.
Oop, stream's broken.
Oh no!
Oh, are they whack? Oh, they are whack. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Weird. I wonder what.
Whoa!
Oh, my bad.
Oh,
my bad.
wow.
Cool.
There we go, there we go.
It
Got it.
turns out I did wind up a lot closer with the coin master than I anticipated.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
There we
It's the
go.
greed. You're like, well,
Oh.
the coin master has the money. He's
the
lustful.
Oh.
So time to like
Yeah.
mosey on over.
Slide in
So-
those DMs.
Right?
So, with that, you're still walking down this hallway. You no more extra things about your characters. We've got it all settled.
Yeah.
We know who you guys like,
Yeah.
what your vices are, and everything. So, yeah. So she asked, "Are we getting drinks after this?" Essentially.
Is that even a question? Of course, anything that you ask. Obviously.
Queen's offering, it would be rude to decline.
Ooh.
Perhaps just perhaps a drink would suffice. Yes, yes.
Tequila. Tequila. We're doing tequila shots.
Fantasy tequila.
Tequila. It's gotta
This
be like
one's
a lot of it, but like the crappy kind. Like shitty
this is
tequila.
a new venture. I can't say that tequila is a taste that I have acquired.
Oh, well, you'll love it. Don't worry, you'll love it. I will definitely get 5 bottles, maybe 10. We'll see.
Do you
Oh,
remember
whoa,
the
whoa.
last time when we went to that one alleyway party and you insisted on those shots with that low grade tequila? And you remember I felt like my head was going to explode and I threw up all over someone. And then we got into a fist fight. Of course, I won. And you had to call the guard because I almost took his head from his body.
But it was so much fun before that happened. Come on.
Perhaps we should save
Can we just
the-
increase the quality grade of the said tequila, please?
Coin Master, can we afford it?
And we should definitely heed caution at how much of a public display we make of this in the future. I can only dig into our coin master's pockets so deep to pay off passerbys.
Indeed. I'm not sure the quality is a matter at this point. Perhaps the quantity that is consumed could be just lessened a little. We do have the next festival. The next event to think about. We want to think of the future.
So I
of
hear
course.
if you improve the quality, you can often end up reduce the quantity for the same effect.
Knowing it is possible. Yes, this is true. But do we wish to develop a taste for the higher quality? Next thing you know, we'll be desiring higher and higher and higher quality, and well, next thing you know, we'll be bankrupt.
But you may as well enjoy the experience if you're going to have it.
And we'll enjoy the experience, and then we'll be dead. Yes, we'll
Yeah,
be
but
dead.
I'd
and
say the more we have, the better, right? The happier time we'll have. It'll be fine. Come on, let's go.
Your wish is my command, my lady.
Our grace speaks our truth.
Yes.
I could get used to this.
So
boy.
with that, you guys do get escorted to your different rooms. Now for three of you, Dia, Jackson, and Relvin, your guys' rooms are pretty much like near each other, maybe even on the same wall or across from each other and all that kind of stuff. But and they're quite large. These sort of quarters, as there's a huge dresser, there's a walk-in closet, there's a good like sort of view of the courtyard and everything. Relvin,
Are the rooms private?
Hmm.
yes, they are private. There is a like pretty thick door along with like an iron sort of lock that you can lock from the outside with your key that you are given to it to lock it at any times if you'd like to and everything. And your gear that you had previously, your adventuring gear, what have you, is all already like on your bed, you know, sprawled out there and all that kind of stuff for you and everything. And then down the hall even further, and take a turn and all that kind of stuff, are the largest quarters, which is for the Queen Eclipses. There's huge double doors. There's guards posted there outside of the room as they salute you, and then you walk in to find a huge, glorious bed as well as like huge furnishings and a giant Now this room kind of like has weird feelings for you because this was your mother's room. Then now, and you don't really have good memories of this area or walking down these halls or anything like that. So now it's yeah, it's your room essentially.
I'm gonna like put my fingers up and I'm gonna click for anyone really, like
A, ser-
staff wise.
a servant immediately comes to you and it is a halfling. He's like, yes, your queen.
I want all of this changed. I don't want any of this.
He's like, okay. What do you want changed?
I want black walls. I want a black, white, and grey bed post with the curtains and bed sheets to match, possibly with some skull and crossbones, maybe. Some form of rug, maybe fake fur. I don't know. You choose, whatever. But only tones.
And he goes, you got it. I'll tell the royal interior designer to get on this right away. And he like bows as he like goes out of the room and everything. And
Dia's gonna approach the guards, and she's gonna. I need my report. Have you already checked her quarters? Is everything okay?
and they look to each other and go, we haven't had any sort of we checked the area and the perimeter. Everything seems fine. Although no one's been really into this room since the queen has died. But I think the
You
I
mean
don't know,
that you haven't entered the room to make sure that it was. Please tell me that you checked the room and made sure that it was safe before Her Majesty entered.
and the guards look to each other and be like, you're right, as they like both immediately like sprawl in and then go like, wait, lady, as they look in the closet and then they like go underneath the bed and all that kind of stuff. Would you like to do a perception check?
Yes, Dia's gonna
Okay.
also too, because she feels like obviously they're already incompetent and she's really upset. She's going to thoroughly check the room for if there's any traps, any types of I don't know, the magical devices where people could be peeping in, any scrying, any of that. She's gonna check.
Sure, go for it.
Okay. And then that is.
You can use your perception or investigation, whichever you feel is like more appropriate.
Oh, perfect. Let's see. Well, they're both the same, so that would be 18 plus 5.
8 plus 5, perfect. With a 23, you look around the room, give it a hard stare, and you do see that there is dust that is kind of like slightly gathered. It seems like it has not been disturbed in quite a while. You look around and you see no signs of any sort of threat at all in this sort of area, and it looks good as the two guards like are sweating profusely as they're like trying to like not get in your way but also trying to like look at everywhere and not get in Eclipse's way as well, as they go like, nothing found, your general, as they like give you a hard salute and just like wait for you to give them orders.
Back to your posts.
Like, yes, as they like lumber out and then stay by the guards, and they're like just like sweating and
She
are
turns to
stressed out.
Eclipse.
Hold
You
up.
love the way that they're so fearful of me. It's great.
You need to
And,
chill out with that.
again, I can't chill out, but it is great to be able to be in this capacity with you.
Rowan?
And Relvin is going to wave down one of the servants as well.
Sure. You do see a what appears to be an elven woman that has a tray of sort of like food that she's like rushing over, and then you flag her down.
Please make sure that this ends up in the right hands. I'm going to need some materials for my research in my quarters, and I'm going to hand a folded piece of parchment with a list of reading materials.
And she takes it and goes, yeah, of course. I
And as always, discretion is a must.
and she like looks over to see that this is a spy master's quarters, and she looks to you and kind of makes this connection. And goes, of course, master, as she doesn't quite know your name.
Relvin.
He
And
goes,
let it be known amongst all of you that if the door is locked, I am not to be disturbed.
and she goes, of course, as she gives like a curtsy while holding this huge platter as and she goes, I'll be bringing food shortly for you. And she, after that, she like in one hand has a note, in the other hand she has a platter, as she makes her way down the hall and arrives at Eclipse's room with the platter of food. That's like a huge spread of like it's the greatest charcuterie board ever, as and it has of meats and cheeses and the crackers and all that kind of stuff. And
I'm gonna like
and-
haphazardly grab like a piece of meat and just like kind of eat it as I'm walking around looking to see if my mother left me anything.
Bert, go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
Now, at this time, there are various people that appear sort of in your rooms or in your presence. So natural 20. Oh my god.
+6.
+6. Perfect.
Bang.
Great. All right. So with that natural 20, you do search around the room, and from your youth and your skill set of being a bounty hunter, you know how to search in places that most people are trying to like hide things from or in or anything like that. So sure enough, you head over and you like look at the bedpost and you kind of like, or the bed frame, and kind of like feel it and all that kind of stuff, and then you just press a little bit and you hear a click as it kind of opens up, and you find there a very dusty, worn sort of journal that's sort of in there, and it looks to be like you open it up, it seems clasped. I'm sorry, actually it is clasped. Yeah, with one of those like, you know, preteen girl diaries that like no one can get in. So that's, yeah.
I get my dagger out and kind of just chip it off, like with the tip.
So you go ahead and take your dagger and you go to like to tap at it and everything like that, and then I need a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Yay. That's fine. That's a +6 anyway.
That's good. All right, you're gonna need 14 to succeed.
Don't roll a one.
Don't roll a fucking 1. Nope, that is a 7 + 6.
7?
That's a 13.
Oh
13?
no!
Okay. All
Fuck.
right. So what happens is that the guards just got to the room. Dia and you were finishing up your conversation as there's a platter of food, as you're like looking around this room searching for anything that's secret, and you finally find that secret thing, as she goes like, there's plates here for you and the general, and oh gosh, like you guys are, you know, I'm grateful that you're the queen, you seem like really competent and everything. And then you're kind of like, you have the book and you have the dagger, and you go to like force it open, and it immediately illuminates in purple light, and then there's an explosion like in your sort of face. You take 11 damage.
That's fair.
And
As,
Dia immediately runs over because she's like, my queen, and she's like freaking out, but she's going to actually immediately lay on hands.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
So,
So you do see-
yeah, she's gonna be like, great Kali, please, healing. And she's like freaking out, like she's not her normal like hard exterior when she's like doing this, because she's like, oh my god, on my watch the queen has been injured.
I'm the worst general ever. Yeah. So yes. So with that, you have like arcane burns that are kind of like on your hands or limbs as you like try to block yourself and all that kind of stuff and everything. You almost did it, but you weren't able to. And it seems like it's pretty like solid magic as the book returns to its normal form and still seems to be magically enchanted and everything. And Dia comes over and places her hand on you, and you feel the warm power of her god pour into you as you heal for how much?
Because I can do lay on hands, I've healed for the a total of 11.
11?
Thank
Okay.
you.
So the
'Cause
full amount. Yeah.
That took me down to 13.
Yeah, no, I'm very well aware.
As your flesh was raw and it was like, scorched and all that kind of stuff, and now it's good. Your clothing's messed up, and that she can't repair that, but at least your body is like
I'll get
like
another
solid
pair of
and
leather
everything.
trousers and shit.
And
though.
then one of the guards is like, oh shit, get someone summon the cleric, as the servant girl like runs. Robin.
Oh, you
Muted.
muted.
As this is happening, I would like for the book to be moved by an invisible force in the direction of Relvin,
Okay.
as
Perfect.
I use a featured mage hand that is invisible.
Okay, perfect. So how do you cast? Are you gonna do? There's a few ways to do it. Naruto hand signals. You can do
Naruto hand
vocal, or you can do written, like signing.
So mine is actually as a result of the telekinetic feature, which I believe means
Okay,
that I
perfect.
don't need the somatic or verbal components to cast it.
Nice.
Yes, I
your
can just
temple
cast
touch
it. I can,
as you.
Sick.
correct.
Yeah.
Professor X mode.
Do it.
As we're gonna say that Eclipse, like, do you fling the book, or do you like does it fall out of your hand, would you say? Because you got a 13 and you needed a 14, so you have some narrative control over the situation.
Okay. So I kind of let's say it yeeted me like a little bit. So it yeeted me like, I don't know, like a meter away. And as I like fall on my ass, like just bang, I'm kind of like digging in my back pocket for my thieves tools as he kind of starts taking this book away from me.
Perfect. You're like damn it, as you see the book reach out from your hands and then begin to float over to Relvin. And yes, now it's a clatter of sounds. Now, Jackson, is there anything you'd like to do in this situation?
Oh, Jackson has gone over to Eclipse. He stepped over, but then saw that Dia had already stepped in and helped out. So he was like, okay, maybe I better not say anything. I'm just going to stand here awkwardly and watch as the book levitates over to Relvin and cock an eyebrow. And okay, parlor tricks. I see where no. Okay.
In a matter of
Understood.
moments, this room is filled now of like Bruce is like, I can leave you guys for goddamn load for 5 seconds, and you guys are getting the cleric is also there, a couple clerics that are like, are you sure you're okay, like my queen, as they are kind of around there. And you, by the way, you know that Tayyar is heavily Pelor focused. So there is a temple of Pelor, there's a high priest of Pelor, all that sort of stuff. So these all these clerics and priests are all of that deity and everything. And
Are you saying that the goddess Kali is not capable of healing Her Majesty's wounds?
and the one of the priestesses is like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. Just we just got to make sure. Are you sure there's nothing? As they like take your limbs and they like look and examine you and just make sure there's no.
As I go like pat out a bit of fire on my like leather jacket.
Jackson's gonna look at Dia and kind of defend the clerics, saying, "Lady Guha, I understand your concern. They are here to serve. That is what they are paid to do. Their concern is quite all right, and there was no offense meant towards you and your goddess. Please, if you would be so kind, just a little easier on them."
Coming
They
from
are,
you,
after
that's
all, only
rich.
doing their jobs.
Say, Relvin, give me the book back. Every time.
Your
Swear
Grace,
to God.
it's clear that this is a dangerous magical object. Perhaps it would be best if it were put under examination before such an accident were to occur once more.
Ugh, always so calculating. Fine.
I will bring this to my quarters and I'll be sure to report back to you if I find anything of significance.
Would I have
So,
recognized this from my childhood? This book? Oh no.
You do, yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
it's your mother's journal, her diary that she would in the moments that she was not leading the nation in speeches or ballrooms or in the court and all that kind of stuff. She would be found in the garden, typically with this book, and just be writing in it. Very very private. She would have her guards like that was the only time that her personal guards would be like about 10 feet away, essentially, so no one could see what she was writing.
Okay.
And maybe one day you like try to steal it and you got reprimanded for it like harshly, which caused even further the distance between you and your mother. That's for you to decide. I don't want to like write your RP history and all that kind of stuff.
I say you are not to read it. It is my
Mhm.
mother's private journal. You are not to read it. If you'd like to unlock it for me, fine. I won't touch it again until it's been subdued. But you
That's
are
good.
not, and no one is allowed to read it.
As Her Majesty wishes.
And Bruce would be like, "That's a good call because I'm pretty sure if you still had that book, you'd probably kill yourself." And is he like has his like hands on his temples and he goes, "All right,
Can I flip him off?
it, you can do so if you want. You're the queen. You could do whatever."
Oh
you
yeah,
want.
no, I'm flipping Bruce off. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
Dia's
And,
giving Bruce like the daggers for the eyes,
perfect.
just like really
Emotional, wrathful
squinty,
smite.
just like because of the fact that Bruce is constantly kind of saying stuff that Dia feels like is not appropriate.
So at this moment, a few other people walk in as Bruce like gestures over to the door and goes, "All right, well, you guys are gathered here anyway, so that's good. So I want to introduce you to your like essentially your personal assistants, your second in commands for your positions and everything." So for Dia, this is Tomba. He's one of our greatest warriors. He served under the former general, and he has done quite well. And he knows the lay of the land and knows our soldiers, our people, and our routes and everything like that. And he should be able to serve you quite well. And he's a lizard folk. As he comes over and gives you a very deep bow, and he goes, "General, I won't let you down. Whatever you need from me, I will absolutely be able to aid you in whatever endeavor." And for Jackson, a woman comes over and he goes, "This is Baraka, and she will be what will she be? Leonin, what I was gonna say." And she goes, "This is Baraka, and she is a competent accountant, and she's taking care of the finances time and again for our former coin master, and she should be able to help guide you for whatever like decisions, at least give you advice and all that kind of stuff for you to make decisions." Yeah.
Baraka, it is a pleasure, and I imagine if we need to, for lack of a better term, if I need to call for you to do the thing, you'll do the thing. Is that reasonable?
And she goes, "Absolutely. Whatever you need from me, I will fulfill your every desire." And she's very attractive, by the way. Just gonna mention that.
My
Yeah,
every
so.
desire. Understandable.
So,
good.
Relvin, you do see what appears to be we're gonna say we're gonna do a hexblood because I like hexbloods. And he goes, "This is Biro. He's one of our finest like spies, essentially. Well, I guess like agents, we're gonna say. And he should be able to serve you quite well as he served the former spy master. He comes of no nobility, otherwise he would be spy master himself. But he is, fine with his position. He's there to help you and assist you in whatever endeavor you might need to ensure the safety of this queendom and all that kind of stuff. As Biro goes to meet you and he gives you a very deep bow, and yeah, and he goes, "Your enemies are my enemies, spy master."
Well, then we will be very good friends.
And then perfect. So with that, and then of course Bruce is like, "And I am your advisor," as he like holds his temples and just kind of like Eclipse.
Still holding my middle finger up at him. I'm like, "Can I get a new one, please?"
And he goes, "No, that's not how this works." And then he goes, "When I die, then you can do it, but I'm gonna live a long time." As yeah, and he
We'll
goes
see
like,
about that.
There is no time to talk about new or old. Right? I'm sure that Bruce knows what he's
And
doing.
Jackson, just so we're clear, do you truly understand? your duty?
My lady Gupa, I will do my best to serve this nation well and provide our nation with the funding it needs, provided
Hmm.
our soldiers and our guards and our servants aren't taxed to the extreme with all the work that we are putting upon
That's
them.
interesting considering that well, what I've heard about your family and where they stand on the current bloodline.
On the current bloodline, yes, my family, that's fine. I'm here and I am here to serve. There is no question about that. I serve Our Lady Eclipse.
We shall see. And then
But-
Dia kind of like turns away a little bit, but then she kind of like darts back at Bruce, like kind of does like a little jump at him to kind of like threaten him a little bit more.
Bruce is.
My,
if you would like
my.
to, you can do an intimidation check. Otherwise, Bruce is an.
Oh yeah,
hardened,
I'm definitely gonna do that because I
bitter
have
old
advantage. Let's
as
go.
he's like, good job, good luck, kid.
Actually, it's really funny because even though I have advantage, I rolled a nat 1. So the intimidation's only a 6.
Perfect. You like slightly trip over something as you like. Well, you didn't get a natural one. Sorry. So only a 6. So yeah, you will try to be intimidating, but Bruce is like, yeah. So right now, your assistants will need to talk to you about the coordination and how you want to address certain things. So go ahead and go into your own chambers and talk with them about this, so we can get it sorted, and everyone knows what they need to do. And my queen, we're gonna need to exchange a few words, and a bit of serious words as everyone begins to leave this sort of room and go into their own sort of areas. And it's at this moment that we're gonna go ahead and take a 10-minute break. That way we can get up, go to use the bathroom, whatever we need to do, and all that kind of stuff. Thank you again for all being here. Valrook, you're here. So good. So as a reminder, enter Tayyar in chat, Tayyar, to be entered for a chance to win a Umbral Oculus die. It is a D20. It's very beautiful. It's gonna be random, but I can like pick one out once we know the winner is and show it, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so it'd be really, really cool. And follow everyone on their social medias and all that kind of stuff. And we will be back very soon. So see you guys soon. Giveaway winner super fast and really quick. While we're doing that, let's go ahead and go around the room to have everyone reintroduce themselves. So and this will be just your brand, not your character and everything. Or let's briefly mention who your character is and all that. So starting off with Andrew J. Landy.
I'm gonna do this like I'm one of those like football players and they're announcing them. Okay, Andrew J. Landy, aka
Yes!
Duralath, playing Jackson Arcega.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry,
Oh,
sorry,
no, I just saw
sorry.
it. That's so
I'm
good.
so excited. I need another one of those dice.
Hell
Yes. Yes.
So good. Let me go and see which one it is.
I
And then
never win. This is great.
And then going over to Rising Valkyrie.
Hi, I'm Jess. You can find me at Rising Valkyrie on Instagram and at Rising Valkyrie J on Twitter. Everything I do is on those accounts. And today I'm playing Queen Eclipse, which is so strange to say,
So good.
who is a rogue who has no fucks to give.
It's perfect.
Nice. And let me see which one this is really quick. Also, if Balrook's here, let me know if I'm ruining the magic. But like, she sent me a bunch of D20s to. And
Absolutely kill the football intro.
Oh,
That was pretty
lucky!
great.
You got the
On
Joker
brand.
one. So this is like,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
like-
I don't know how I got
sick.
these scars.
I like that.
right? It's
And
like
it's
so
funny
good.
because I've cosplayed it as the Joker, but just
Oh, that's awesome.
gender bent version. So that's fun.
let me put this back
You're
in
gonna have to
here.
share that at some point because
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Oh, I creep people out, especially because only when I'm dressed up as the Joker can I laugh, kind of in a very creepy way, and I can't duplicate it any other time. And I creeped out a lot of people at Long Beach Comic Con. It was fantastic. It was fun.
Are you the Mark Hamill laugh or the Heath Ledger laugh?
Neither. It's a unique, very
It's the Utahime laugh.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
Utahime.
very
Yeah,
it's very
there we go.
eerie. Yeah, it's fun.
I like
Perfect. And then, yeah, and Discount Bard. Tell us about how amazing you are.
Hi everyone, I'm Eddie, your local discount bard, a real-life jack of all trades, and overall master of none. You can find me on all the various social medias at Discount Bard. Today I am here as Relvin Yanlius, our spy master of mysterious origin.
Perfect. And Ujihime?
While we talk like this with food and I'm no, I'm just kidding. I'm Brianna, also known as Utahime, cosplayer, streamer, TTRPG performer. You can find me on social media at Utahime Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, here on Twitch, where I occasionally stream a variety of games. And going into October, it's going to be spooky month, so stay tuned for all the fun, scary games. And Brianna DeCosta on Twitter. Also, too, you can find me every other Tuesday on Ecrium Expeditions on DM_screenings channel as Fanara Valar, which has been a lot of fun. We have an absolute blast on that. Also, too, stay tuned. There's another campaign I will be a part of every other, I think it's actually no, every Friday, starting October, called Agents of Nyx, that Dan from Creators Assemble is going to be DMing, so that should be a blast, and there will be some familiar faces as well in that campaign.
Oh, that's so cool. And then yes, my name is D'Angelo Murillo. You can find me on all social media at @_D'Angelo. I am the Dungeon Master for this evening. This is Tayyar, which is going to be a series about these nobles who have inherited positions of high power in their nation of Tayyar. And their nation of Tayyar is in the lowest point it's ever been. And they somehow need to survive for a year and crawl out of it or die trying. And as bankruptcy, civil war, plague, and all these different things may happen to their nation in that time. We are sponsored by Umbral Oculus Dice, so feel free to go ahead and check them out. They have amazing dice, and yeah, so it's pretty good. So yes, Umbral Oculus, stand up.
I fell.
There you go. Bam. Okay, perfect. So, you guys all get escorted to your different rooms with your assistants. And one more time, for Dia, it's Tomba, who's a lizard folk. For Jackson, it's Baraka, who's a female Leonin. For Relvin, it's Barrow, a male hexblood. And then for Eclipse, it's beloved befriend Bruce, the orc and everything. As yeah,
Bruce.
So we will go to Dia first as Tomba enters the room with you and lays out of various scrolls on your sort of desk that you have, and goes general. I want to bring you up to speed about everything. So we at one point were the second strongest nation, or the third strongest nation in the sort of like known world and everything, but we've been decimated since then, and our numbers are thinning because a lot of our standing army got affected by the plague. Some people fled the land, to get away from the plague and everything. So we are in a legitimate vulnerable position right now. We have no wars going on, so that's great and everything. But for the roads leading to all the different lands and everything within TR, we have 50 men out there to go and sort of make sure that they're safe from bandits. For our various sentry towers, we have 20 men. For our castle here, there's 50 people to protect the royals and the specifically the queen and everything. So
Question for you: how long have you served?
He goes, I have proudly served TR for 10 years as
how many battles have you won?
And he goes, various, as he kind of like goes under the last general, we'll say Ironheart. Oh no, it would be yours. It would be
yes.
Guya, yeah. So he goes like under Guya, I saw him slay various foes and was able to win a bunch of battles and everything, and I've held my own, yeah.
So if you served under my father, you're well aware that it is not numbers that matter. Again, I will say it again. I will not repeat myself. It has to do with strength, with our drive, our determination, and most importantly, hope. We cannot fear our enemy. We must crush them. Every single one who stands against us. We will not back down. We will not fear death, because with death comes rebirth. Just like Tayyar will be reborn, and we will stand proudly next to our ruler. So I don't want to hear anything about we are second. We are not going to be second. We are going to be number one now, starting now, forevermore. Especially as long as our queen is ruling. Do I make myself clear?
Tombo will clear his throat as he gives you a salute and goes, "Of course, General." But
I
with
need to
all-
know their training. Are these people who are stationed on the border, what is their training like right now?
And he will tell you, well, that's one of the issues, as you can clearly see. Sorry, not clearly see. As you can see for some of the faces of those guards who are serving, they're either older men and women who have decided to volunteer to help out and defend their land, or younger people. Our strongest and our most capable got wiped out in the plague. So training is happening, but those who are trained instructors have also passed away. So that is the aspect that I mean, that we are vulnerable, that your guidance and your leadership, especially from Aguya, will be paramount to our soldiers.
Well,
And,
since you have loyally served and you are one of the strongest, I will leave it up to you to train some of the strongest and the brightest. Even if it may seem like the age is a factor, age is never a factor when it comes to a true warrior spirit. So I expect for you to train those to properly go out and teach those who are supposed to be protecting the border and protecting this castle, making sure that they are capable, more than capable, and they can do their job not only efficiently but effectively.
and he'll bow and be like, "Of course, General. We have 120 men, and right now they're being utilized to their full capacity. But the biggest concern, as he will like gesture over, because I guess we'll say that the room across from you is Relvin's, as you can see him talking with his assistant and everything. He goes, as the spy master will more than likely inform you, shortly, there is a civil war that's been brewing for some time now, or it's about to be civil war, as there are resistance groups within Tayyar who loathed and hated the queen and the way she waged so many wars and how she handled certain situations. And now that we're in this vulnerable state, one aspect of the plague that is very curious, but I am no magician or no witch or anything like that, is that it took out our army and took out our royals, but the common folk were left mostly untouched by the plague. So the resistance is quite strong. So I have a fear that there may be something that might happen during this coronation, as we're going to parade down the streets of the common folk and everything. Now we have 50 guarding the castle, which is kind of light. Would you like me to pull anyone away from any of the other areas? Or we can conscript, which the common folk do not like, but if we need more soldiers, we can force families to give us their oldest son or daughter to be able to serve.
As I said before, we have more than enough. And again, you have me as your general. If I'm here, the queen has nothing to fear, neither its people. So, I expect to get further information, which I will probably talk to Relvin in regards to these whispers in the streets. As far as this resistance is concerned, we need to crush it. Crush them completely. These insects will not continue to infect this royal family.
So you get a point of inspiration for leaning into wrath. So that's good. And then Tombo will give you a bow and be like, "Of course." As we go across the room to Relvin, as you are talking to your assistant Barrow, as he kind of like tells you essentially the same thing, where he goes, well, different things, where he says like, one, there is a known group in this area that are resistance fighters, who are trying to free Tayyar of this monarchy and trying to place one of their own, like of the common folk, into that position of power, because they don't like how the last queen, rest her soul and everything, handled all these situations. They are afraid that her daughter Eclipse will walk in that same path of bloodshed and war. So there are known hatred and malice against her, but there's been nothing more than graffiti and defamation, or desecration of certain statues and all that kind of stuff. No violent acts, but they're getting more and more vocal. And with the common folk outnumbering our military might and our town guards and all that kind of stuff, they may grow more bold. Now, if you'd like, I can investigate this, but there's one other thing that I want to bring to your concern or attention, is that there's a lot of other nations out there, and we're at a very vulnerable situation now, with from all aspects, financially, from military wise and everything like that. We can't stand against these other nations if anyone tried to encroach on us. If I were a betting man, I would say that there's probably going to be an attempt of some sort to try to cripple us in some manner, whether it be our livestock or whether it be our queen's life, whether it be something else. I can only do so much though. So if you'd like, you can send me to go and investigate the resistance, or you can send me to try to identify if there's any sort of attempts of assassination of any kind or sabotage.
Yes, whatever information you could find would be useful. What do you know of the Commonwealth's current feelings regarding the nation of Hariwan and the conflict that has ensued with them?
So he leans in and goes, honestly, the resistance feels quite warm and welcoming to Harawan, as they're a nation and the only nation to stand against Tayyar and Yordrik during the war. The only one to give us a stalemate, and they love that defiance. And there are some outgoing letters from people from Tayyar who have family members over in Harrowin in the islands, who kind of want to immigrate there or get support for, and how they can free their nation from it. So the common folk look highly on Harrowin.
That may be a good angle for us to be able to approach. Let's try and see if we can find any additional information regarding the ongoing affairs of Hariwan and their beloved ruler, and see if we can find some way that we might be able to twist that in our favor.
Sure. Just to confirm, do you want him to investigate the resistance and what's going on with the common folk and everything?
Yes.
Perfect.
I am asking him to investigate the resistance, and also to see if there's any ties that we can make to Hariwan, possibly that we could use in our favor, to see if maybe we might be able to work this into propaganda, perhaps, to maybe see if we can try to twist them back into our favor.
So he will hand you Bori will bow as he hands you one half of a sending stone, and he goes, "I will be in touch shortly," as he gives you a deeper bow and then exits the room to go and fulfill this sort of task. Now going over to Jackson, as Baraka is in your room and is going over the ledgers and accounting and everything, and she goes, to be frank with you, we're essentially fucked, as she looks and holds out everything. She's like, the last queen did not care for accounting, budgeting, or anything like that. Her strategy was to go to war, pillage other nations, take their riches, and bring it here, which worked. Like, I'm not like that's a profit and everything. But now that we're not in a war, now that we're not like stealing and murdering other people for their stuff, we don't have a good income, because our outgoing production value isn't really happening, because our livestock is very thin. Our natural resources are untouched due to the plague, and workers not really wanting to go out and handle this sort of stuff. and they feel like their tax dollars aren't really taxes aren't really going to what they should be going towards.
What of Lady Tasia? I imagine Lady Tasia is a name I've heard. Our relationship with her, the Yordrik ruler, and also I believe the leader of the Shabaka. Is that correct? Is my intel correct on that, or do I need to be corrected?
She goes, yes. So the only reason we're staying afloat right now is because of the leader of Yordrik. She's they're sending over like coffers or chests filled of gold for us to use and stay afloat at this time, but only because we're in her good grace. Now, to be honest with you, as she kind of like waits and looks around to make sure no one is listening, and she goes, her relationship was with the Queen Laureate, but Eclipse is far from what her mother was, so I don't know how long that relationship's going to last. So it might be best that we try to take care of ourselves financially rather than rely on their favors.
Well, I agree with you in that we do need to establish our own independent line of money, and we need to revitalize any form of industry we have here, whether it be our livestock or anything that we can export. We cannot ignore the fact that we do need capital. If it be necessary, we may need to reestablish our connection with Lady Tasia, and just to ensure that we have something on the back end while we still try to, I guess for lack of a better term, revitalize ourselves. I imagine that some influx of coin is better than none, and we will need that in order to invest in ourselves. If we can somehow make a deal, perhaps, and borrow, I'm not sure. With the intent, yes, we will return what was once lent. We will have to secure that. That is the most important thing. Is, as you say, we are fucked, and the goal here is to unfuck ourselves. So that's where I would go right now. What we must do. Do you know of any other allies we could have that would be willing to help us, or have we burned those bridges?
And she goes, Yordrik would be the one who have the biggest coffers and be able to help us out, and we have the greatest relationship with them. Shabaka would be the second best, and there's also a couple other ones. Katima would also be one, but unfortunately, if we do take these loans, we're going to have to pay them back with interest. So that'll only be a temporary relief for now. But while you're on that point, we do have a couple things that could help us for our nation. For our military is not doing very well numbers wise. It might be wise to upgrade their equipment and their gear to ensure that they are stronger, even if they're like fewer. But that'll be a hefty, price in coin. Alternatively, we could help fix some of the roads and some of the buildings caught by some of the summer monsoons and storms, which would help the common folk. It would not help us defense-wise or anything like that, but the common folk would absolutely appreciate, and that's where they pay for essentially their taxes for.
Indeed. I imagine morale would be boosted if we invested into our common folk. I'll have to consult with Lady Guha upon what the guard may need. She seems very, very strict about making sure that the guard is fierce enough. But whatever they need, I understand defenses. This is so much tougher than my. I'm not even going to mention him. Not even going to mention him. No, I am my own person. We are going to be able to do this. I shall talk with Lady Guha at some point to see what is required of the guard. I do agree, though, with you. We do need to invest in our common folk. These people pay their taxes. They should be rewarded. They should be taken care of. Is there any other expense that we can at least slim down? Anything extraneous that you could tell me about that seems completely out of line for what we're spending on?
And she will look through the ledgers and everything and go, well, it's bad timing, but in a couple months we're going to have to hold. We usually hold an annual ball here that has all the royals and everything, but that always comes with like exotic flowers, exotic animals, various like a buffet filled with food and all that kind of stuff. If we were to like trim the fat on that, that would save us a good chunk of money. But I'm not sure how the queen would, like the new queen would respond, because everyone's wondering how she's gonna rule, how she's gonna be, and it may bring dishonor or shine a lackluster light on her if we were to do that.
We don't have a choice. If we're going to save ourselves, we do need to, as you say, trim the fat. No word of this to anyone right now, but begin plans to at least cut the extraneous out. We will still need to feed the people. The exotic animals, though, things that do not serve our kingdom, we'll do our best to limit them. We may still have, we still have enough for at least a little bit of leisure. Not cutting it all out. We must at least show some form of strength here, and I imagine that will be necessary. Focus on the food, less of the extraneous extravagance. That's where we'll start there. In the meantime, let's see what we can do about reestablishing our connection with Yordrik and Shabaka. We'll table Katema for now, but those are the most important ones to establish our alliance with and make sure that we are still in good graces if we are to save our nation.
Baraka gives you a bow and goes like, some of their diplomats and ambassadors will be here tonight, so we'll be able to discuss more of that. So that's a good plan. And she looks to you and goes like, I'm glad to serve under you. I don't know you that well, but I hope we can have a good relationship. As she gives like a very deep bow and everything.
Oh,
and
please, there's no reason to bow to me. I don't wish for it to be bowed to like that. I just hope that we can work together very well, and hopefully we establish a good relationship with one another.
And absolutely. As then it goes to good old Bruce and Eclipse, as he's like he's definitely like smoking a cigar, as he's like, all right, and he goes, now listen, as you're probably it depends on how you want to handle the situation. So but right now everyone's essentially getting ready to get dressed for the actual coronation, all that kind of stuff, because it's happening very soon. So you could be getting dressed behind like blinders or whatever it's called, or whatever, with all your servants like helping you out or whatever, or you could simply hold off on that to talk to him like face to face, whatever you feel is more appropriate in this situation. But Bruce will go, there's a lot on our plate, my queen. Military wise, we are the weakest we've ever been. There's a brewing civil war, and people rightfully have a reason to be mad and angry with the former queen, and that's all of her problems and sins are now on your shoulders. Like, even though you might not be responsible for that, in the eyes of the people and the public, they don't support you at this moment. A majority of them don't. And we are in the red for a lot of our finances, and a lot of people, we have a lot of enemies. You've got a lot going against you here. Tonight, a lot of these nations are going to send their ambassadors here to be able to get to know you, give you thanks and praise. Now, I want to be frank with you that a lot of these people are going to be two-faced. Serving in this position for so long, there are almost no allies. There are probably a lot of enemies here, but we have to play nice, because if we burn too many bridges, we'll be alone when we need them most, and all of that. So, to give you the rundown for everything, our greatest ally is Yordrik. She's their leader. Tasia was your mother's greatest ally, and she's going to support you. So if you keep in her good graces, you will have the protection of her military might and her resources. So whoever they send, please give them the best, afford them the most respect and everything. Other than that, Ketuma is one of the other nations that was conquered by your mother. They hold no love for us, but they have a political alliance with us, and they're allies of convenience, as they've benefited greatly from this alliance. But we've killed a lot of their soldiers to get that sort of position. and I doubt that any of the other nations are going to send representatives. If they do, I'll try to advise you on who they are, maybe how to handle these situations. But just look everyone in the eye, pay them as much respect as possible. Please don't flip them off. And yeah, and he goes, "Is there anything that's pressing on your mind right now, or any questions that you might have?" And
As he's like talking at me, I'm gonna be behind, like you said, the shutter thing, like
Yeah.
the changing kind of like wall or whatever it is that opens up. And as this is happening, you'll see like clothes just flying out from
Yeah.
behind this thing. Her burnt leather clothes. And can I before I went behind it, can I try and pinch a cigar off of him?
Sure.
Okay. But no, I'm not gonna tell him, I'm just taking it.
That's fine. Go ahead and do a dexterity. We'll say a dexterity check.
Just straight dex.
Yep.
Okay.
Oops. Okay, there you go.
Straight dex. Where is it? Okay. Come on. So not one.
Oh, really?
Dear. Yeah.
Thank you for the raid. We really appreciate you guys. A natural one. Okay. So
Why are
what
we
happened-
rolling this way with Bruce? What is happening?
Actually, wait. Yeah.
He's-
Never mind.
He's definitely like he's an older man, but he's deceivingly quick, and he's yeah. So as he like is taking a huge puff of his cigar, and you try to like snatch it from him, he'll step back and then blow in your face. And he goes like, "Questions? You got any questions? Because you're about to be in front of a lot of people." And
So Bruce, can I just have one, please? Just please.
as he groans and then gives it to you, and yeah, and he goes, "Now, the other thing I want to mention to you is that you are the queen. That means there is no door that is locked for you. There is nothing that you can't have at your disposal, essentially, for better or for worse. Don't be a spoiled brat, and don't just take anything you want, because you're gonna run the coffers dry, and when the coffers go dry, the people don't have food or protection, and that everything falls to pieces. If you don't have the love of your people, you're gonna be taken to the guillotine." And
Yeah. I get it, Bruce. I get it. And then like I click my hand for one of my servants, and I asked him for like replacements for my clothes. I would never put on a gown or a cape or whatever. I'd just still ask for my leather clothes. Just a new set. And she'll be like looking at her dresser after putting on her clothes, and she'll be drawing like her emo eyeliner, right?
yeah,
with a hood up,
dagger, and then like,
yeah,
doing her...
yeah, exactly. She dipped it in like the ink and just yeah. And as she's doing this, she'll go, "Okay, oh mother, oh. Okay, right. I know about the annual ball that comes up, right?"
Yes, you've had to attend it multiple times. It's very bougie, very posh, and everyone always dresses, to the nines, essentially.
Okay, so I think we should do something different this year.
And he goes, he sits down in a chair and gives like an old man grunt, and like, ugh, and he goes like, "Oh no," as he like waits for you to explain yourself.
I think instead of the extravagantness of it, I think I should make it interesting, make it fun, entertainment. I think each kingdom that attends could pick their best fighter, best soldier of sorts. And we make it a bit fun with a wager. Maybe we can earn some coin like that.
He's like, "Oh, a tournament." And he goes, "That would be very appealing to some of the other nations. It would there has to be some sort of dancing or some sort of fancy event, because not every nation will enjoy like bloodshed and aggressive, but they..."
Of course, but how about a tournament and then a banquet after?
And he goes, "Very well, your wish be done." As there is a personal assistant in the room that's like like scrolling everything down, and
so I tell the personal assistant to write this down and say, "Okay, I'm going to need you to talk to all three of my team per se. I need you to talk to the coin master to see where this budget lies for this event. I need you to talk to my general and let her pick the best soldier to fight our battle, because this is a move of power. This is a play to show our strength as a kingdom, as each one will. It could be anyone. I don't mind anyone within the kingdom. Our best soldier. And please talk to our is it spy master? Yes, spy master. Talk to our spy master, and could you get him to scoop up on the skills of the possible, I guess, fighters from the other kingdoms? Thank you.
So they scroll down and be like, we'll get that information to you as soon as we can. As he gets up and goes, I've said my piece. If you have any questions or need any advice, I will be by your side as much as I can tonight. But unfortunately, age has gotten the better of me, so I will be going to bed at a reasonable hour. If you would like to stay up and party, that's cool, but stay near guards and don't ever be alone if you don't have to. And
Okay. I will talk to my advisors and my team. And we'll try and figure out some solutions, I guess.
Perfect. So with that, just to recap, Dia, when given the options to, this is like your telltale sort of choices. When given the option to pull soldiers from different places to the castle to give more protection to it, or to conscript or anything like that, you've chosen to decline and stay the course.
To focus on training the people who are already in place, because training new recruits also too would take more money and time that we don't have. So that is her logic behind it, is to focus on strengthening the soldiers that are already in place.
Perfect. And then for Jackson, you are interested in seeking loan information from other nations to find ways to bolster the coffers for to be able to grow and everything. You also were presented the option to increase the military sort of budget for better equipment and everything, or to assist the common folk with repairing damages from previous storms that's left untouched for quite a few years. You've held off on making that decision to gather more information in the near future, and you're focusing on how to trim the budget, or sorry, to like trim the expenses. That way you can have a better, tighter budget. Dia?
Also, too, Dia did discuss with
Tomba? Yeah.
Tomba. I almost said Tomo. That's not the name. Tomba, about investigating, because she wants to try to crush the resistance. So she wants as much information, but she plans on talking to Relvin as well to try to see if they can get to the bottom of that together.
Perfect. And then Relvin, you were informed of the brewing sort of civil war and other nations more than likely being interested in crippling Tayyar. You've had your agent go and investigate the resistance to see what's going on there and any ties for Harwin and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then for Eclipse, you were informed of everything that's going on with the certain current nation and all that, and you decided to make a change to this year's annual ball to make it more of a tournament style, to gather the greatest fighters and to have them perform feats of strength and combat prowess and all that kind of stuff, jousting and everything. Yeah, so perfect. So it's good. So with that, you guys all get into your sort of ceremonial armor or whatever you'd like to wear at this coronation, and you begin to parade as there's like huge fanfare that's going off, and there are you pretty much see there's distinct loyalists, and there's also like rebels essentially who are like not happy at all to see you guys parading around. But there is a military sort of march. There is a huge like sort of parade with like floats and all that kind of stuff, and there are goodies being given out to the common folk, like bread and fruit and all this kind of stuff that are making the comic folk pretty happy, especially the children, as they look up in awe towards the royals and everything like that. Now, where exactly would you guys like to be on this sort of like parade? Now, obviously, on the major float is the queen herself. Could you describe what you're wearing during this like day?
Oh yeah, no, she has her. It's kind of like her leather jacket that's was singed, but she kind of like got someone to patch it up with just random bits of leather now, so it kind of looks very edgy. And she got some new leather trousers and still wearing her dirty combat boots. But yeah, she'll still have her hair covered in one eye. And has like her belt across her chest and just chilling. She's kind of just sitting there, laid back and kind of just waving ish at people.
Perfect. And Dia, did you want to be in her vicinity, or would you like to be at the head of the actual parade, or in the flank, or anything
No,
like that?
she would be basically in front of the queen's, her float or wherever, and obviously on this either side there be at least like the row of soldiers, so kind of basically standing watch and standing guard. So she's at the front keeping an eye out, constantly looking around, very stoic, very focused. And the men, she's kind of keeping an eye on the men, making sure that they're also, two men and women who soldiers are paying attention to what's going on and protecting the queen to their best ability.
Perfect. And then for Relvin, where did you want to be? Like right by the queen, or do you want to take place in one of the towers up top to be able to get a better vantage point, or wherever you feel narratively that would be your character would be at?
Relvin is going to be close enough to the queen to establish his position, but far enough away that he can keep a watchful eye on the surroundings.
Perfect. And then Jackson, where would you like to be?
Jackson will be near the queen if he needs to mention anything about how the crowds are responding to her. It seems that they are responding quite well to the gifts that are being given out. Making note that you may lean over to the queen to say, remember that you're the one that gave them these gifts, and these things will curry favor with the people and will put you in a better light.
I'm sure the people aren't that stupid. I'm sure they know that gifts are hollow and empty.
So
You may be surprised, my queen. Even the smallest of gestures can speak wonders to the people that are under you.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and Bruce, yeah, Bruce will be like, that's very wise, Coin Master. Now, I hate to be this person, but you might want to like present yourself in a pleasant manner so that they can attempt to like you. I won't control you, but it's up to you. So if you'd like to put on a front to like greet the crowds with like waves and smiles and all that kind of stuff, you need to do a persuasion check or performance, whichever you feel is best, or even deception, whichever you feel is most appropriate. And but you can choose not to if you'd like.
Or I can do a gymnastics display across my float.
If you want to, it's up to you.
Yes. I would rather do that.
All right, go ahead and do acrobatics.
Don't do me dirty. Don't break my leg.
I know you got a natural one last time. I'm like, all right, here we go.
That is a 16 plus 8. That is 24.
So with the 24, go ahead and describe me what you do.
Okay, so I kind of get up from my chair and I kind of try and put on a smile, and it looks very forced because she's not used to using those muscles. And she'll get up on her chair, right? Kind of wave to the crowd and then jump off, like just a hop off, turns around. And what does this float look like exactly?
The float is going to look like we're gonna say it's just a giant platform essentially that's magically being moved with a series of like magicians or magi that are kind of like around it. There's various sort of, I don't want to say glitter, like confetti that are being shot off from different like wizards, and like they're using like thaumaturgy and prestidigitation and all that kind of stuff to make it very fanciful. And
so as it's happening, she will kind of ready herself, kind of like bounce up and down, breathe out to herself and breathe in. Like that's her ritual when she does stuff like this. And she'll sprint forward and kind of tumbling across the float itself. trying to jump high enough to do basically a double front flip by the time and then landing.
Perfect. So you perform this, and the whole crowd gasps in surprise and just cheer as they see you guys. And Bruce like gives you a thumbs up, and he's like, "Not bad, kid." As yeah. So for Relvin, you get a little ping from your actual sending stone, as well as Dia. You also get a soldier that comes up to you during the actual event, and this is the same message, pretty much relayed to both of you, where it's like, we went ahead and investigated the resistance as you had requested, and we were able to team up with the general soldiers who were also going to like go and check this out. And we did find that there was a plot to actually disturb the parade today. It seemed to have been like a harmless sort of prank by throwing like fruits and trying to have a sort of a speech and sort of take the thunder away from the sort of queen today, but we're able to actually take it down. What do you want us to do with the like ringleader essentially of this sort of like plot? And this question is asked to both of you guys. You're not on the same call. It's just your soldiers asking Dia, and then your agent is asking you, Relvin, whether you want to take them in for questioning, you want them executed as an example of, or whatever you feel you think would be best.
We'll bring them in for questioning, and we'll decide their fate afterwards.
And then Bora goes like, understood, as they end the call. And then Dia, what would you like to
We have to get to the bottom of this resistance and find out if there's more leaders of their little network. We won't kill them for now, but again, that's just for now, depending on what information we gather.
Perfect. And then the soldier gives you a salute and then begins to go and take care of the event. So because of that, there's no disruption with this parade as you proceed. And there's children and elderly and young folk who are looking on in awe as they haven't. This is the first like happy thing that's happened. Dia?
During that time as well, that's basically Dia is at the front, and especially after hearing that there was some type of plot, she's still gonna, even though these are supposed to be just regular people, most of the time plagues are still associated with some form of magic, dark magic. So she's gonna use her divine sense as she's looking out into the crowd as well, and keeping eyes ahead as well as like on either side of her. So she's definitely keeping an eye out for anything that could be supernatural as well in the vicinity.
Do you
And
pop
that's
your
60
divine
feet.
sense?
Yes,
Okay.
one
Okay,
of them.
so
yes.
You so when you pop it, it's only for 6 seconds because it's like for one round essentially. So as you
That's
sort of
within 60 feet.
Correct. So as you pop it and you're kind of observing the sort of area, you do feel some sort of like weird sort of magic. Now, dark magic, demonology, necromancy, and all that kind of stuff is legal within this queendom and all that kind of stuff. So it could simply be that as you look over to find the source to be some figures that are kind of like hooded, kind of wearing the same sort of garb and everything like that. It could be just a street gang or what have you, as they're kind of murmuring to each other and just they look very displeased as they like what's your insight?
My
Passive
passive insight is only 13. My passive perception is 15.
Okay. With those two combined, you kind of see that they're essentially just talking shit. They're definitely more rebel leaning. You're not sure if they are rebels, but they just don't like the parade and they don't like the royals at all. And yeah, but you can tell that some of the dark magic is coming sort of from them. They haven't done anything wrong, but they are there. Yeah.
She will motion to one of the soldiers to approach where she is. I'm assuming, I don't know. I'm assuming they're riding on some type of horse or something.
They do come over to you. Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to investigate that group over there. And then she points in the direction. I picked something up. Be leery of them. Get as much information. Question them.
Okay. So they go, of course, right away, General, as they begin to sort of ride off. I rolled for their perception. They did not notice your sort of gesture or make the connection at all. So within a few minutes, you do see some soldiers like kind of like grab some of them and then like begin to like pull them to the side. The TR secret police is in effect. So yes, so this goes off without a hitch as you make your way all the way to the castle. As you can find while there, everyone gives fanfare and all that kind of stuff, and everyone stands in huge giant crowds as you see that they're Rovan?
Upon arriving to the castle, I would like to frame the majesty of Her Grace by casting a minor illusion to give off sort of a sparkling sort of firework effect, so to speak, around her.
Eclipse. Yeah, there you go. So you do so as it adds to the whole thing as everyone's like, wow, it's a Gandalf moment. And yeah, so the gap of the actual parade fills in with all the people who are there now, both loyalists and rebels and people who are sort of undecided and don't quite know how this new leadership's going to be, as there's fanfare going off as Bruce leads you over to sort of a podium with a like a magical voice enhancing device, and simply goes like, all right, my queen, this is your chance to give us your essential speech to the people. Try to be nice and good luck, as he leans back and just waits for you to speak.
How tall is this podium?
How tall are you?
Like 5 foot.
5 foot? Oh god. So it's probably like 3'5" or something like that, or 3 foot.
Okay. So instead of standing behind it, I'm gonna. Was there a mic, or am I just
Yeah,
standing
it's
on
essentially
it?
a mic. Yeah.
Okay. Can I grab the mic?
Mhm.
And I'm kind of gonna climb on top and sit on it, just with my legs dangling,
Okay. You do something?
facing the
Everyone's like,
audience. And I kind of turn, and how many people do I approximately see?
You're looking at a few thousand. There's probably like a little over 2,000 people.
Okay. I say, what's up? No, I'm joking. People of Tayyar, this is a momentous day, apparently, and I am grateful for all of you, showing your faces here today, and showing your support or not, however way you'd like to. Thank you for coming. I'll be honest, this was not my dream job, but I guess I will try my best. I will do what I can, and I do look out for you. I am certainly not my mother. Whether or not I'll fill her shoes, we shall see, or maybe I will fit in my own. But I only want what's best for everyone that lives here, including me.
So go to do a persuasion or performance roll, or deception if you're lying through your teeth, and with advantage, because that was a good RP speech.
Okay, so hold on, which ones are we doing?
Performance, persuasion, or deception if you're lying to them.
Okay. My deception's better, but I'm not lying.
You're like a politician, be like, there's gonna be free healthcare. There's gonna be
No. I think she was just trying to be honest there. She's like, I'm not the best, but you got me. That's all you got. Come on, don't do me dirty. That is
Now,
a whopping 10.
Wait,
Once-
You said advantage though, right?
Yep.
advantage.
Yep. I rolled a 9 and a 2.
Alright,
Dia's going to, in that moment after the speech, kind of like get behind her and hit her on the back. Well done. So proud of you.
so
Guidance, please.
Guidance. Okay, go for it.
What do I get for that again?
That's a D4.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Please roll a 4.
This is roll a 1.
You had 25% chance, so
That is a 1.
No.
All right. So it went from a 10 to 11. All right.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't someone
Now-
have inspiration?
Anyone?
I'm gonna
Oh,
tell you this
wait.
right now. You do have the $50 let it happen. So if you want this speech to be a banger, you can pop that.
Oh.
But because it goes away at the end of this session, so You can always, it's an automatic like critical success essentially, and all that kind of stuff. But
Okay.
the session is not over, and other things may happen. So you can keep it in your pocket, or you can use it now, whatever you want to do.
I need to ask my team. Discuss.
Huddle. Yeah.
Huddle. Come on, group huddle. Right. What do you think? Ooh.
The morale
I think
of
in
your
this
people.
moment,
Yeah.
yes, we
Yeah.
want to have the will of the people. This
That's
is an
quite a-
opportunity for you to sway them in our favor.
Agreed.
There's quite a few thousand looking at me.
You did
Wouldn't
really
you
well.
rather have a few thousand who love you?
Love is a interesting word. Yes, preferably if we are all in agreement.
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to have an automatic success?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you use that result, and maybe in the past you were very unsure of yourself, stuttering, sort of mumbling, sweaty, like swaying back and forth and all that kind of stuff. But then you hit your stride and you speak from the heart as you pour yourself into the people, and they resonate with you. And at the end of your speech, when you like do you give a bow or anything like that to them?
I kind of do like the kind of gesture, like what battle, where I just kind of just do the
Perfect. So as you do that, everyone kind of claps to you and like sort of cheers your name and everything. And it seems to have turned the crowd from getting that like critical sort of success and all that. So yeah. So what happens at this moment is everything sort of ends, and then you like people begin to disperse and all that kind of stuff. As you guys are guided into the main sort of castle now to have like a dinner essentially with some of the other like ambassadors and everything. And Bruce kind of goes over to you and be like, that was solid. That was actually very, that was a great move, honestly. And he goes, now this next part is probably going to be the most dangerous because you're going to meet a lot of politicians, and remember that a lot of them are going to be two-faced to you. But just eat the food, play nice with them, and like don't make any promises to anyone at this time. So with that, he goes to like organize some other stuff, and you guys are all kind of converging on the same sort of area. If you would like, you can choose to like address the resistance members like right now if you want to, or you can hold off until after this sort of dinner. It's completely up to whatever you guys want to do right now.
Are you saying question? Are you talking about questioning then the?
Correct. So essentially they're in the dungeons right now.
Oh no. She's focused on wherever the queen is right now, and that's
Okay.
basically that they're apprehended, so she's not really concerned with that until it's necessary. At least
Perfect.
Dia.
Okay. And Relvin, what would you like to do in this moment?
I think it wouldn't be harmful to let them sit with their thoughts for a bit more. Maybe that'll soften them up and make their tongues looser when it comes time to actually question them.
Perfect. And then Jackson, I assume you're going to attend this event.
Diplomacy is the name of the game.
Okay, good. So you guys get to this sort of banquet as you see that there's a huge spread there with all these different foods and the wine and everything's there essentially. As you see various members of different nations that you can see that there are members from and we'll speed this up because there's only about 20 minutes left. So Yordic and their members come first. Now you can see that it's no one from the royal family that you've ever seen before, but it is one of their ambassadors who comes over, and it seems to be a dragonborn. As they bow deeply to you and they give you a chest. Now you guys are on her side, so it's her in the sort of like throne, and then it's a couple. You guys are on her like right next to her, and the leader or the ambassador for Yordic goes, my queen would like to wish you well. Obviously, our nations are great allies. We would like to continue that. And in your time of need, we've brought you 500 extra gold to be able to help out in, for whatever you might need in this situation. And may you have continued, a long life and prosperity as they kind of go through. Is there anything you'd like to say to them?
I'd like to shake their hand formally.
Perfect.
And am I sitting in like a throne again, or like just?
You are, yeah.
Okay. So I shake their hand and I say, please thank your queen for all the help she has given us. Much appreciated. Do you remember her from my childhood? Just tell her it'd be lovely to see her again.
And
Mhm.
she goes, once things calm down here with the plague and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure that she'll absolutely visit. And next is Ketama. Now their group comes and they are like very diplomatic.
Mhm.
As they come through and they go like, our queen wishes you well in this new, like, we hope that you lead the nation into great peace and prosperity, and we're grateful to be allies as always. As they go like, for our gift to you, we have brought you, various supplies from our nation of grain and rice and everything. That way, you may feed your people as you sort of wish, and it eases this sort of area in time. And when you get back on your feet, we hope to one day receive the same sort of gesture or kindness in some form or fashion, if we ever need it and everything. And yeah,
Oh.
and at this time for Dia, yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah, no, I wanted to basically like during that time roll insight on the
On them?
people who are presenting. Yeah,
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
Perfect.
So this would be for Yorderic or whichever one you
Yeah,
want to
so
be.
that's
Yeah.
23 for insight.
23. Okay, so for Yorderic, you see that they give the coffer and everything like that. It seems like they are kind of a little bit stressed out about this whole situation. Like they don't actually want to be here. And obviously, they're in Tayyar where there's a plague, there's a brewing civil war and all that kind of stuff. And they were sent to come here, so they're probably terrified of getting like ill or sick, but they kind of like try to go through the motions as quickly as possible and like saying their well wishes, and they just kind of take their place and murmur to their cohort and all that kind of stuff.
Is this Katima, or are we talking about
That is Yorderic. Yeah.
No, I was doing it on Katima because
Katima?
Katima
Okay,
is
so-
technically the land that was not friendly to.
Got it. Okay, so
Throne.
for Katima, that last one will be for free. For
Okay.
Katima, you examine them and they seem extremely sort of neutral, very judgy and all that kind of stuff. But they're still being very cordial with everything. They came here to deliver this grain and supplies and all that kind of stuff, and they have done so. And they just kind of want to eat and they kind of want to leave, and they have no strong pull one way or another. Rovan? Muted?
First of all, unmute themselves so that they could actually get a word out. I apparently cast silence on myself and was not aware.
Great.
I would like to be very clear. The nation of Tayyar very much appreciates your gift. It is very much appreciated, and we truly value the alliance that we have formed with Ketama over the years. But make no mistake, there is no feat for us to get back upon. We are as strong of a nation as we possibly could, and your allegiance will be of much value to us as ours will be to you. So it'll be in everyone's interest for us to maintain this relationship for a long time to come.
Go ahead and do persuasion with persuasion, intimidation, whatever you feel is most appropriate, with advantage.
I'll go with intimidation because it's slightly stronger.
Okay.
The higher of the two is a 16.
All right. So with the 16, as those words leave your mouth, they straighten up and they go like, and they bow even deeper and they go, of course, we're not questioning your strength at all. We completely understand Tayyar is mighty, and long may you live and prosper. As they kind of give a very formal bow, and then they and then they go back to their positions at their seats and all that kind of stuff.
Can I
And,
make an insight check on that and see if I believe that was convincing?
Go for it. Yeah.
That'll be a 18.
With an 18, it seems like they are afraid that they've offended, and they're like, "Oh shit, we're gonna get killed if we threaten this alliance at all." So they're trying their best to double down on being appropriate, and yeah.
Good. A little fear will do them well.
The next one, which is not on the list, so I apologize. And everyone who's watching, I'm gonna make a webpage that way I have all this information. So if anyone else wants to check out the nations and all that kind of stuff, you guys can check it out. But this is Olteca, and they are another ally of yours. Very mysterious allies that are from the jungles and everything. That never, when you guys went to war against them, they did not offer any sort of resistance. They immediately surrendered and wanted to, conform and just like ally themselves. But they keep to themselves as you can see their ambassador comes through and goes like, we sense a lot of despair and devastation to these lands as the nature itself speaks to us and says that this plague has ravaged much. For our gift, we want to give you sort of an amulet of health, essentially, to be able to ensure that you live long. And although you said you were not your mother, we appreciate and we appreciated her strength and direct approach to various situations, and we hope to see the same from you as they hand you over a magical item of like an amulet, essentially, of health. And
I sigh at what they said about my mother. And I say, thank you so much for your generosity. Hopefully I can make decisions as well as she did. Thank you. And then I kind of hand it to, because Robin's a spellcaster, correct? Of some sort. So I hand it to you and say, could you please have an eye on it? Keep an eye on it. I'll check it out before I put it on. Thank you.
Very wise, Your Majesty. You beat me to the punch.
He is gonna try to do insight on them as well, like to try to get like with all like she's doing that with anybody
shady.
who's like
Yeah.
she doesn't know if they're really trustworthy.
That works. That's fine.
Okay, and that's gonna be 18 for insight.
With an 18, they seem indifferent to this sort of situations. They seem like they like an ally of convenience, where they want to play nice, they want to be well because you guys are a very strong nation on the rebound and everything. So they're giving, but they have no real loyalty or allegiance. It's only like an ally of convenience sort of thing. You see no hostile intent from them. It seems all business.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the last one, or the second to last one that appears. Now there's two groups, one of which seems to be from Shabaka, which is a neutral nation. They're not allied to you guys, but they're simply neutral. The war never got to them. They simply stayed out of it, and they, were able to do their thing the entire time. But they've come here out of kindness, to hear about the coronation, all that kind of stuff. And the group behind them are kind of shrouded in sort of robes, and there's guards that are kind of like, sort of hassling them a little bit, and it's like a little bit of murmurs and all that kind of stuff. But the members of Shabaka appear to you, and they go like, although we are not, we've been peaceful like neighbors for all this time, and we hope that we can maintain and continue this sort of peace. So we want to sort of give you a wand, and it's from our actual armory, and it's a wand of sort of fireballs. So that way, if your military, or whatever happens, you may use it to assist and aid you. And they go, we hope you never have to use it. And as they give it to you, it's in like a case and everything. Same with the amulet and all that kind of stuff. And they kind of like bow and give their thanks and all that.
So kind and considerate of you. Thank you for showing your face and your presence. I really do appreciate it. Yes, I'm hoping to keep the peace between our nations. Possibly even progress the relationship between them and develop and grow.
They definitely bow, and they go like, we would absolutely hope to see that. We are a nation of pacifists, so it depends on all how you handle conflict and everything. We are about the pen and not the blade. So if you it all depends, but we are grateful to have your peace and in the situation as they head back over to their table.
Insight.
And go for it.
I already rolled. It was 19.
19. Okay, so with the 19, they also seem very interested in the current situation here. They're getting the lay of the land of what's all going on. Especially, it could be the speech that she gave saying that she is not her mother, but they seem interested and hopeful that there may be a change that will make it to a positive sort of direction. So it seems like they're interested in forming a stronger alliance, depending on how things go. But they're happy with what they see right now. And finally, the last group of people who are getting hassled by the guards, and there's raised voices a little bit being like, you can't be here, like you didn't receive an invitation here, you can't blah blah blah. But sure enough, there is a guard that or Bruce comes by, as he was also in that situation, and he seems extremely like sort of stressed as he goes over to you, and he goes, "My queen, I want to inform you that there's ambassadors and also the actual queen of Harrowin that's actually here. They've come and traveled a great distance. Now to bring up to speed, Harrowin is a hostile nation at this current moment. That your mother and them went to war. They were the only nation to defy her and stalemate. And sorry, Empress. Yeah, Makanui is here. And she would like to speak to you and also apparently grant you a gift. And how would you like me to handle this sort of situation?
I am going to hold my hand out to Bruce and like secretly flip him off. But and then I get up from my throne and I actually walk over to the Empress.
And
Like,
Dia,
personally.
Dia immediately is behind with her trident, but like not in an aggressive, but just kind of basically just always at the ready for whatever may occur. But she's trying to basically show that, you know, the queen is not alone.
Yeah, and the guards are also around that too, because especially with this situation. So the Empress takes off her like hood essentially, and they're towering figures. They're pretty large. As Empress Makanui stands in front of you, and she looks like the images that you guys have seen, because there's a lot of propaganda when you were growing up around how evil Harrowin is and all that kind of stuff. But she actually looks softer than what she appeared in all those like propaganda posters and everything. And her and her soldiers are all there. Their equipment has like, are all made out of bones of like dragon turtles and various other like sort of sea creatures and everything. As she goes, Queen Eclipse, I understand it that is your name, and we want to give you thanks and that you have given that speech and inspired me with hope that one day our two nations don't have to be at war like this. And I hoped and came to travel that you wouldn't be your mother, and wanted to make at least a peace offering that we can work towards a relationship with our two sort of nations. As the guards are very tense as they're holding their stuff, and immediately, even without insight checks, you can see that the room has grown a lot in tension, as everyone has different opinions, especially Yorderic, who also went to war, allied with you against them, and seem very disgusted by the sight and all that kind of stuff. And to go like, if you will accept my gift, I hope that I can aid you in your time of need and whatever else. And yeah.
How tall
You
is
know what I
she?
did?
Sorry, go for it.
Sorry. She is 6'8". And she's a human, and she's pretty thick. Yeah. So they're all their people are pretty thick. Yeah.
21 insight.
21 insight. They seem extremely genuine. They seem like and this is the Empress herself that's traveled here. Like, everyone else was too scared to send their to come themselves. They've sent their ambassadors, but she came with her royal guard and all that kind of stuff. And so it seems like she's very genuine. And
How old is she?
She's about probably like 55 or so. So
Okay.
she's got wrinkles, gray hairs, but she's strong. It seems like,
Okay. Is it disrespectful to their kingdom if I kind of take her hand and like kind of kiss it?
You could try it. It's up to you.
Do I know that though?
You don't know that. Yeah, sorry. You can do a history check. I don't want to shut you down. Yeah.
Let me try. Come on. Don't do me dirty.
You've offended them. They're going to war with you.
That is a dirty 20.
Nice. With dirty 20, you know that they are a very loose culture. They're very open to hugging, personal touch, and all that kind of stuff. Like, they have a very thin personal space and a bubble and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, if you do the gesture, it will be received in kind. Yeah.
Okay. But would I know if that would piss off my other allies?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were to perform any sort of positive diplomatic
Mhm.
relations in the presence of all these sort of allies, it'll cause a rift in these different areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even if I accepted the gift.
You don't know that part. You only
Okay.
know that welcoming them with open arms, like immediately, will have repercussions. But so will everything in this game. So.
I say to her, thank you for making the journey here yourself. I understand that there was this conflict between you and my mother back in the day. I have heard bits and pieces of information of what has occurred. And we could have a conversation. I am not promising anything, but again, I do appreciate the gift. It'd be rude to not accept. However, a conversation is not a promise.
And the Empress like gives you a slight bow because she's also royalty. And her posse also gives a bow as she gestures over to the gift, and it's a box, and she opens it up for you, and it's a whalebone like longsword essentially, and it's a and she goes game terms it's a weapon of warning, and she goes, this is made by our people. It saved my life multiple times, and we've want to give this to you so that way it could protect you in your sort of your darkest hour and give you that edge that you might need. And because I understand your situation, and a conversation is more than I thought would happen here. So I would appreciate it. And yeah, and then the one of the guards comes over to me like, do you want them to dine with us as well, or
Can I look towards the other allies' reactions from at the moment?
Sure. Yorderic is the most disgusted as they're like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. And then you see that everyone else is very interested. They're not feeling one way or another, but they're very curious as to this development because they definitely didn't expect it.
I say to the Empress, like I had said, I understand that it was a journey for you to get here. However, your attendance was not taken into account. We don't seem to have enough meals at the dinner, and it seems to be an issue.
And go ahead and make a deception, persuasion, whatever you feel is most appropriate.
Okay, right.
In that moment, Dia will kind of on the sly kind of turn slightly to place a hand on Eclipse's back, kind of just for strength, because I know
You
that
got this,
she's doing
guidance.
yeah, guidance. We have to explain it.
Okay, so that was a 13 plus a 3 on the modifier for deception, plus another 3 from your guidance, so that is a 19 for deception.
So with the 19, you essentially say that, like, you know, we can't accommodate you because we didn't know you were coming for this sort of dinner, and they understand, like, you know, say no more. We expected to be thrown out of the castle, frankly, you know. So this is more appropriate. We are going to be staying the night, and I would like to talk to you about other gifts we could provide you while we're sort of here as gestures of peace and of our willingness to improve our current standing on everything. If you'd like to, I can always speak to some of your advisors as they Robin.
I can wait my turn for this, but is Barrow present?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to. Is he close by, or is he just like in the room?
He's definitely right by you. Same with Tomba, and same with all of your sort of advisors, assistants. Yeah.
Keep a close eye on our unexpected guests, and please report back to me if you discover anything outlandish or out of place.
And he gives a nod as he like is gonna wait until a more appropriate time to be able to leave and do everything.
And of course, as always, be discreet.
And yeah, so she says, like, you know, I would love to speak with some of your advisors to be able to talk about how what we can provide to help you out and to show you how generous, our gifts can be to be able to improve our relationship. And yeah.
Thank you for the offer. I will speak to my advisors and I will get back to you.
And she goes, "Thank you," as she then like is escorted out by the guards and all that kind of stuff to leave the sort of castle as you guys like attend to your banquet and everything. Now, you guys are all sitting at the same table, essentially within earshot of each other, within vocal range of each other, and all that kind of stuff. Was there anything you guys would like to say to each other to discuss anything?
We still on for tequila tonight.
Whatever you wish, Your Majesty.
Amazing. Absolutely. I love your spirit.
My
I love it.
queen, you handled yourself quite well there, so I believe I owe it to you to at least share one drink with you, of higher quality, since I believe that's what the queen requested.
Sure. As long as you drink with me. That's all I ask.
Of course, my queen.
As always, if the queen is offering, it'd be rude to refuse.
How about I think we need a meeting between us all.
Rather interesting guess that we had tonight.
Indeed. I think we should speak about this more in private, possibly. How about a 10 a.m. meeting in my bedroom? That's the new meeting boardroom, by the way. I just decided.
So we're coming to the end of the
Those are
episode.
Grace's
So
desires.
I will go ahead and move this along as you guys eat and you drink your fill. As various other ambassadors come up to you, you can see that Yorderic diplomats are kind of displeased by what they sort of saw, but only slightly, as you handle the situation in a very neutral fashion where you're open to conversation. You didn't immediately shut them down, but you didn't also let them dine with you, welcoming them with like total open arms. What would you like to do with the gifts? So you have the amulet of health and you have the weapon of warning.
I want to get
and the wand of fireballs.
And
Yes,
the
and
one
the
of fireballs. Yes.
I want to get anyone that has mage powers to check out all of it, like the magic stuff,
Perfect.
before
So you send them off.
we make it available.
That works. So you send them off for investigation, prior to you like having them on your person or using them at all or anything like that.
Dia would also suggest the food, even though they seemed like an ally. She would suggest, I think there was food that was offered to
The grain and yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
If we could make sure to do the same, even though they are allies, it's the same that we would do for your food any other time. We need to make sure that the same consideration is given for the commoners.
Of course, we will get that thoroughly checked. Thank you.
My queen, if I may, I understand gold was given to us, a huge boon. Baraka is nearby me. Yes, is that correct, TM? I'm gonna motion over to Baraka. Baraka, see to it that this gold makes it to the royal vault. No interruptions. I want this handled personally to make sure that there is no interruption. This must get to the vault immediately.
So she gives a bow as she motions to the local guards, and they kind of like agree as they go to escort the funds sort of away. As now, what happens at this moment is getting to the end of the night. The members of Ketama and Olteka kind of go over to Jackson and are like, "We're understanding that you want to talk about loans, so let's go ahead and like talk about it a little bit, that way we can discuss, what you guys sort of need, which we'll handle this section next episode and everything, or even in between." For like Dia, Yorderic actually like comes over to you guys, to you, and like goes like, "We want to actually talk like to you to see how you are doing, if you need any like thing from us from like weapons or armor or anything like that at all." And they kind of like want to have your ear to talk about that sort of stuff. Relevant for the other diplomats and everything, they kind of just go their thing. If there's something you want to talk to them about, you can absolutely do so, but no one immediately grabs for your sort of attention. Now the night's coming to sort of an end as two of you are occupied, and Eclipse and Relvin is kind of getting to the time you guys sort of exit. So Relvin, how would you like to spend this night? Would you like to go to your chambers to simply go to sleep, or would you like to do anything else, go to dungeons or anything like that?
Of the food that we acquired as the gift from Ketema, is any of it something that would be able to be a portion of it taken off to be prepared as a dish for our prisoner?
Absolutely. As they go ahead and take a sample of it and everything, and they make it, boil it or whatever, and then are able to present it. Yeah,
A peace offering and a test all in one.
Perfect. So do you want to personally go to the dungeons yourself with obviously guards and all that kind of stuff? Okay, perfect. And then Eclipse, would you like to retire to your sort of chambers for this evening to head over, or what would you like to do?
Before Robin leaves, I want to ask you about the journal, if you'd managed to unlock it yet.
In this time, you've had no time essentially because it's been all go go go. But it's still in your chambers in a safe place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As promised, Your Grace, I will report back the moment that I find anything of use.
I am going to return to my chambers because we are going for drinks later in my room, right? We are meeting later.
You said 10 a.m. though, right? So that's like
no, that's the meeting. That's the meeting.
Oh, the meeting. Okay.
That's the meeting.
This drinks are.
I mean, we could have
happy
drinks
hour.
meeting if
Yeah.
you so
Yeah, basically.
request.
What happens is that
party.
4 armed guards escort you, from the party as everyone says, their good night to you and all that kind of stuff. And the diplomats have the ears of Jackson and Dia, and then Relvin goes to the dungeons to be able to check on the prisoners and Yep.
I just want to say, when I return to my bedroom, I kind of hold my dagger out, looking at this journal, and I'll move my hair finally alone in my bedroom, and my eye will be glowing this kind of light pastel lilac kind of color as I form one of my psychic blades in my other hand, and I'm gonna try and pick the lock with the psychic blade instead.
Well, the journal is currently in Relvin's chamber.
I thought it was in my chamber. That's what
No, it's in his chambers because he gave it
Damn
or
it.
he took it and he's gonna investigate it. Yeah. So you do not have that. So what's happening now
Oh, damn
is
it.
that you're escorted by these 4 guards to your room, where there's 2 guards in front of your room as they give a salute, and they go like, have a good night, my queen, and everything, as they all give you a salute or anything like that. And they open the doors sort of for you, these double doors, and they you see your room, giant bed. They're you have the gifts go to be examined, so they're not there or anything. But there is more equipment and all that kind of stuff that's been delivered for you, and everything like that. Anything like say or do as you enter the room to the guards or anything?
I order my bottles of tequila.
Right.
Yeah.
So you ask for tequila, and then they're like, of course. Well, we'll get right on that. As one of the 2 guards hurries and hustles to go and do that, and then the other guard closes the door for you and have a good night, my sort of my queen, and all that kind of stuff. And then as you sort of enter this room and all that. Question: do you have alert?
No, I do not.
All right.
I don't think so.
Okay, perfect. Does a 24 hit you?
What?
Yes, it does.
Oh, come on.
Wait, there's no guards? Oh, Dia's gonna be pissed.
One guard is stationed outside. And
But that means they did not check the inside again. The discussion.
Yes,
Oh,
the
man.
24
So
hits me.
mad.
Yes, the 24 hits me.
All right. So, let's go ahead and do this.
Oh man.
I am a
Man.
rogue. I am not. I am squishy.
Are we about to have our queen usurped in the first episode?
No, wait, you have uncanny dodge, right? Wait, no, it is that at
That's
a
level
higher level.
6.
Level 6, I forgot. No.
So that's good. So what happens narratively is that you walk into this room and you're like, actually, could you give me tequila? And they're like, you got it. As they like close the door behind you and you kind of give an exhale, as you hear the slightest little creak, and then suddenly you feel something thrust in your back. As things start to go a little bit numb around the point of where it impacts. Game wise, you take 19 points damage.
Okay.
As you begin to, and can you make a Constitution saving throw for me?
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Damn.
Guys,
No.
friends, where's all my friends?
All your friends are dead. Just
I got a 16.
16, you succeed. So you feel poison begin to try to course through your veins, but it doesn't quite take you, as you feel this like stab in your sort of like side as you give like an audible sort of gasp and everything. And the only thing you can sort of see is on the sort of exposed neck of your assailant is a sort of raven, as they sort of say like, you know, long live the queen, and then we're gonna fade to black as we'll deal with the rest.
What? Man.
Are you
kidding me? Dia's gonna be enraged.
Long live the queen.
Oh, she's gonna be so mad.
It was gonna be good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
So yes. Thank you guys all for watching. This is TR, a very like, you know, royal sort of D&D session that might even be more dangerous than going into dungeons and fighting undead or anything like that, because you really don't know who to trust. So
You never know when you'll get stabbed with a poison dagger.
right?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, it's there's a lot of spicy stuff coming up. So going around the room, tell us about how amazing you are and where we could find you, starting off with Andrew J. Landy.
All right, what's up, everybody? First of all, thanks for watching and tuning in. My name is Andrew J. Landy, aka Duralath. Now, you can find me on the interwebs, Instagram and Twitter at Andrew J. Landy, or for fighting game stuffs, Twitter at Duralath. That's where you'll find me. I've been a commentator for Street Fighter and a streamer for minigames, Street Fighter, and Hades. One thing I will get to announce, actually tomorrow, is the drop for the first episode of Vampire the Masquerade Port Saga, which is a radio podcast. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts, so Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. Search Vampire the Masquerade Port Saga. I play Primogen Dante Mendoza on there. That drops tomorrow, so subscribe, stay tuned, because it's going to be a wild ride.
So good. And then going over to Rising Valkyrie, our queen.
I'm Jess. You can find me at Rising Valkyrie on Instagram, at Rising Valkyrie Dre on Twitter, though I don't use it very often, so good luck. Yeah, I'm in a few projects coming up, and I am in a podcast that's going to drop at some point on the Bearded Nerds podcast. You can find that on Spotify, etc. I was on it a while ago, recorded, but just wait for it to drop. And yeah, just here chilling with these amazing people. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. And then going over to Discount Bard.
Hi everyone, I'm Eddie, otherwise known as the Discount Bard, where you can find me on all the various social medias at Discount Bard. I'm a TTRPG player, voice artist, overall real-life jack-of-all-trades, master of none. I also stream here on Twitch, where I do primarily Sea of Thieves content, although we're preparing for some spooky stuff for October for horror season, so all kinds of horror games. If you want to have an opportunity to see me scream my lungs out and make sure that I'm wearing my brown pants, it's a great time to do that. Otherwise, you can find me on various channels like this one, where I perform all sorts of fun characters, including over at DM Screening. On alternating Tuesdays, I play Art, the little goblet artificer, which is a wonderful little character that I have a huge amount of love for, and I also just do other various projects here and there that you can follow on my social medias.
Yeah. And then going over to Utahime Cosplay.
Hi guys, I'm Brianna, but most of you guys know me as Utahime on the social of the medias. I'm a cosplayer and streamer and TTRPG performer. You can catch me at Utahime Cosplay on Facebook, Instagram, here on Twitch, where I also occasionally stream, and there's going to be some spooky stuff in October as well, hopefully with some friends here. And also too, you can find me at Brianna DeCoster on Twitter. And you can mosey on over on Monday evenings at 6:30 Pacific time for Vault, the Fall All Out TTRPG that I'm a part of. I play Ash, the Super Mutant Barbarian, on the Initiative Order, so definitely check it out. And then Tuesdays, every other Tuesday, you can catch us at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time on DM_screenings, Ecrium Expeditions, where I play Finar Valar. And then in October, the cool announcement is that I will be a part of the mini campaign for Creators Assemble that Dan will be DMing, and that's going to be starting Friday, October 8th, and it's called Agents of Nyx. So definitely stay tuned. Also, to another friend of the channel, Just Too Casual, will be a part of that cast, as well as some other amazingly talented people. So tune in.
Yeah. My name is D'Angelo Murillo, and I've been your Dungeon Master for this evening. I always fight with all my heart and soul to bring more inclusivity and diversity to our community with different projects and everything. You can find me working my booty off on Emerald Templars to try to get that live. So in October 15th, that's when the Kickstarter will launch. As I try to like raise enough funding to hire like POC writers and artists to be able to bring what they love about their culture into this tabletop RPG game, so we can see that representation unfold before our eyes and be a great experience and everything. So yeah, I'm so glad that you guys joined us. Please follow everyone, and we will see you guys next time. We'll see you guys later. Bye.